There's a problem with Final Fantasy 16 where it didn't sell enough copies, or was it Final Fantasy 7 remake? It didn't sell enough copies, but if you looked at the metrics, it sold like 70% of the PS5 consoles that were out there, it sold. So it's like, how can 70% infiltration not be enough?
What did your bot did a notification before you did?
The bot's just there, it's like saying, got him. Your desk or your desktop? I'm so confused. I'm Bob.
Confusionism.
I go bed again.
Good night, Traps.
I just went to sleep already. Who are you?
He did actually. That was a thing today.
Was that funny? No, the character. Oh, they were playing on the new map as well? Have fun. No.
Again.
Again. Hello, chat. How's it going? Close that down. Wait, what did I do with the sauce? The sauce! Then I need yesterday's sauce. Thank you, Burning. Appreciate it. Okay. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late today, guys. I'll know the drill. It is tax season for me, so I do just have a tendency to be a little bit behind. Okay. Let's get this party started. I just got the tweet out. Again, do me the favor, go get that some love. Bot's working. And that's working as well. So again, hello everybody. Hope everybody is doing good today. Here is today's artwork. It actually is kind of a two-piece, as it's MHX, but then basically double X in her bikini as well for the second picture. So make sure you definitely go give the artist some love. All right. So I get to continue on with the 90++ nodes. This is actually going to be interesting because I have no challenge, I have no command spells right now on JP because I have actually used all of them for a node scuff. It was a particularly bad node scuff. I bricked my unit on turn 2 with Oberon. So it was not pretty. I did manage to get the final enemy of the JP node down to like halfway, but I didn't have a backline that actually could deal much with her. How's it going? It's going pretty good. Hope chat's having a good day. Work was pretty okay for me. Yeah, that too, Bob. Oh, but how was chat's day? How is everybody else doing? Anyone have a particularly entertaining Tuesday? King, thank you for the 43 months. Appreciate it, my dude. Yeah, can we get some love? Let me see some CAD salutes, CAD waves, CAD hugs. Yeah. Well, whatever. Actually, don't even think Ganesha is man trait. I'm pretty sure she's sky trait, so I don't even think I need to use all of those. It's just more star bombs. I got a real fancy, real grade Gundam kit. Nice. Which Gundam was it? A lot of work. Yeah, I feel you. That's kind of how it has been. I used Trubs to stream to stay awake. Good. Trubs was testing out his new model today on stream, so if you guys haven't checked that man out, definitely go give him some love. Let me shout him out. Oh wow, we're getting close on the AP there. Your waifu was so mean to me today. 2 Alteras and a Jack before Lartoria showed up. Yeah, she does that. The first one is usually the hardest one. I don't know why, but it just is what it is. Make sure YouTube's functioning well. Okay, yeah, looks like it's fine. Ken, your CQ vid was fun to see. So it's really funny because I was talking with Okayist about that, and I was like, man, I was like, in a weird way, I'm kind of glad you cut out a lot of the dialogue. I didn't tell him to do that, but I was like, I'm kind of glad you cut out a lot of that dialogue because I was not exactly having a fun time with that CQ. It was what it was. That CQ, again, I felt kind of debated at one point, and I was just like, this is getting kind of ridiculous. But I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it's actually like that hard of a CQ. But I do think it kind of requires you to have like at least certain units, I think, to kind of counter his ability to just deal damage through everything. It was epic. That's what it was. I feel like I can do a lot better on my own. But yeah, we're going to be recording a new guide today, so that's going to be something that I'll be working on. I think Okayist is trying to get the survey video for me done, and obviously I'll be doing the CQ here too. So the JP CQ may be yet another video for us. But I think the idea is we're going to try to keep content flowing on YouTube. See if we can get the numbers back to like where they were. I do think guide content is one of the best ways to do that, because the guide content is usually, as I like to call it, evergreen, where people kind of need the info and they want the info and they'll continue to look for the info, as opposed to like when I make like a CQ video, it's like it's only kind of relevant during the event. My Oberon survived that CQ with 2k HP. It was close. Oof. I got afraid when I submitted the description and YouTube censored me. That's all. Yeah, you got to be careful about certain words. YouTube doesn't like certain words like grape without the G. I'm not gonna say every other word because there's certain things that like YouTube really doesn't like you to say. Shavery without the H but an L instead. And then obviously like a lot of like bad words like slurs and stuff. So it's like if you start discussing certain topics, YouTube just doesn't like it. And I kind of like, I understand, right? But I also kind of hate it because there's certain things like historical videos, for instance, talking about one of those subject matters will literally get like demonetized, even though they're not necessarily like trying to do like some avant-garde edgy shit, right? Like they're actually instead trying to like educate. And you'll see like YouTube just kind of cracks down on stuff like that. So it's kind of rough. I think YouTube's got to lighten up in that regard. I understand at the same time why they feel the need to, but to me, that needs to be something where it should get flagged and then like manually reviewed, rather than it should just automatically get demonetized. So I think that's where like the systems that we currently have in place for a lot of the like social media and stuff like that, I think are just patently bad, because like a lot of social media sites at this point are using AI in order to kind of handle the load for them. And that's been before the like big AI craze. Like YouTube has been using AI for a decade now to do a lot of their stuff, and it's bad. Like it's why you feel like like as a content creator that you never like that YouTube doesn't care about you and that they don't ever like do anything on your behalf, is because you never actually deal with a human. You're always dealing with just the automated bullshit that their platform kind of puts you through. From what I understand, yeah, they do, Arch. They don't like a certain group from the 30s or 40s. Yes, 100%. Like I said, like I kind of understand that too. But yeah, it's like you should still be able to discuss the topic without promoting or glorifying it, I think. It's just copying stuff and re-uploading. Oh, I mean, that's a different story. That's user-generated AI content, which in and of itself has its own issues. But then you have like YouTube itself on its like moderation side uses AI, and you're like, so it's okay for you to do it, but not for us to do it. It just gets kind of bad. The artist that fails art school, yes. Yeah, I think I saw something the other day of someone was like threatening to take away someone's like art degree, and they were like, no, 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 don't do that. It's like, yeah, that hasn't historically been a smart move. Which, so those of you guys that saw, like, there's obviously a lot of like new stuff that came out for both Rivals and Overwatch today. And then there was also like some bad news that came out for Rivals, where people are saying that like supposedly Rivals, like NetEase has fired all of the American devs and the like lead dev for Rivals. Like depending on the source that you read, you believe that the entire developer staff for Rivals got fired today. And the reality is, as far as we know, it is just a small like group of contracted employees. People are like, oh, they fired an entire studio. They didn't fire the entire studio. They just literally fired they didn't even fire it. As far as I know, they just ended the contract with a studio that they were outsourcing things to. And it was supposedly a support studio. I heard that they worked on like AI stuff for like level design. So like, I don't think it's a big deal, but people are trying to make it sound like they fired all the American devs and this is some sort of like culture war and things like that. And I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, like I'm not sitting here trying to like protect and glaze like Marvel Rivals, but I took one look at it when the story broke, said this doesn't smell right, looked into it more, and immediately discovered like more details that say like, yeah, no, this is actually not that big of a deal. So I'm kind of waiting, and I want to see, because like again, like I think it was Cross that posted something in gaming news earlier, but I just deleted it because I was like, no, like when we know it's like patently false info, it's like, let's wait and see what happens. Because like NetEase has come out and said that they haven't fired any developers, and that all they've done lately is like, I guess like move them, right? Like they just got transferred. Nobody got fired. So that tells me that like this group isn't even considered devs by NetEase, because according to them, they did get like let go, was their terminology. And I'm like, yeah, but I feel like if you're a contract worker, a lot of the times you probably view it from that lens. But the other side of the coin goes, this was a contract worker. They were always temporary. They were here to do a job. And once they fulfilled that purpose, then their contract is up and we don't renew it. So I don't think it's like they got fired. I think it's literally just they didn't renew the contract with these people. But like I said, so it's like it's much ado about nothing so far as I understand it, but we'll see. I'm waiting for one of like IGN or Bloomberg or one of them to actually like go and talk to the developers and get to the bottom of this and figure out what actually happened. They never used the term let go if the contract wasn't renewed. Right. And so that's why it's like, I don't really understand it in that regard. There seems to just be a lot of like conflicting things on both sides. Americans worked on the game. Yeah, I mean, supposedly. As far as I understand it, like those people aren't the only Americans either. Like there's more that did. So, and I honestly, that kind of makes sense if you think about the fact that they had to work with Marvel, right? So, like, at bare minimum, yeah, more Americans worked on the game. But I don't know, right? Like, I just, there was a lot of, like, stink about that sort of stuff, and I don't think it was that big of a deal. So, we'll find out. But I didn't want to, like, keep spreading a bunch of, like, misinfo. I wanted to, like see, like, okay, like here's the way the story currently looks, but there's two opposing sides, and we don't have any idea what the actual truth is. It's just he said, she said right now. Are these the same people having a every time the same thing happens with other AAA studios? Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, right? I think when it comes to game development, so the recent idea is that like game dev as a like industry is extremely volatile. It's cutthroat. They will get rid of you even if you make a successful game. And this is largely the sentiment that you see getting echoed right now over this NetEase stuff. You see a lot of people like jumping off bridges, basically talking about how like, oh, this is the end for them. They're going to be like done with Rivals because of this. And I'm like, hold on, we don't even know anything yet. So like you see people kind of like going unhinged and like immediately jumping to like the worst possible conclusion. And I do think like game development right now is really is volatile. It's probably some of the most volatility I've ever seen in video gaming. Thing is, this has always been the case. Always. Game dev has always been an extremely volatile industry. Like, people finish a game and then entire groups get fired. This has always been the case. Yes, I do think it's worse now than it ever has been, but this is nothing new. It doesn't excuse it, and I understand this is why people are getting upset and why it is such a hot button issue. People want the industry to do better and do right by their devs, but I also understand that this kind of is par for the course, and so just because somebody got fired doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Game devs are actually pretty used to kind of having to shop around and go work for different studios over the course of their career. 1980s video game volatility was peak? Yeah. I think NetEase is kind of dumb to do it this way. I don't, because I think you're conjecturing entirely off of nothing. Like, I hate to say it, but like making a judgment against NetEase right now when we don't even know the actual circumstances of what happened is jumping to a conclusion, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to say, like, there's any number of possible explanations for this situation that are completely innocuous and harmless. And then there are, you know, greater tiers of that. There are things where it's like, okay, hey, maybe they did do a fucky wucky, right? Like they messed up and now like they ended up kind of publicly firing someone. That is certainly possible. And if that comes out and that's the case, I will gladly like say like, yeah, that was stupid of them. They shouldn't have done that, right? But right now, here's how we know this info, chat. Literally, the quote-unquote dev in charge at that studio went and posted to LinkedIn purely to get his buddies aka coworkers jobs. That's it. That's the only way. A private post was made to LinkedIn, and somebody stalked that LinkedIn profile, found it, and then basically blew it out of proportion and tried to make it sound like the entire dev staff got fired for Marvel Rivals. And then every freaking like Twitter news piece and like all these other like posters started just echoing that. So like right now, yeah, I'm sorry. Like even the LinkedIn post doesn't really add up in and of itself, because it sounds a little bit like the guy is just trying to glaze it some and kind of like pity party everyone to get his buddies a job. Like I don't blame him for doing that, but it doesn't mean that you should absolutely treat this as like 100% the factual truth of what's going on, because he's trying to like do an emotional rug pull, right? Like he's trying to make it seem like woe is me, like we got canned. This is really bad. These people need a job. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't get me wrong. I'm sure they do need a job, right? But I think at this point, I wouldn't look at like an emotional, like more privately made LinkedIn post than like someone that's actually talking to them and getting the factual truth to report like newsworthy stuff, right? Like, so, and the reason that I severely don't trust this is because this post was done by a content creator who literally everyone is saying is just a rage baiter. So like, yeah, I don't trust this entire situation. And that's why I'm waiting to see like, all right, give me some actual news. Let one of the news organizations sit down with NetEase or sit down with that dude, get an interview and find out what actually happened. Right? Like, because besides that, I don't see that there's necessarily smoke there. They took my job. Yeah. All we know is the contract ended and it was not renewed. Like I said, for all we know, that like conjecture may be that it's not even like it may be people's conjecture that it's a contract. We don't know. We don't know any of the info for certain. And that's why like it's weird because like I can literally go here, right? Yeah, look. Literally the first post. The Marvel Rivals game director and his team have just been laid off. No. No. And if what we've heard about this team is true, then right now, this first line that's typed is just like it's absolutely like hyping up their actual contribution to any of this. My stellar, talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games. And we're just laid off. And I'm like, bro, you were a support staff for actual developers. Like, I'm not gonna like say you didn't contribute. I'm gonna say making it sound like you are the developer is duplicitous at best, right? Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm sorry, all of these sources are kind of just circle jerking it all from the same LinkedIn post that has since been taken down, is my understanding. Considering the lead directors in China, they love to rage bait. Yeah, and I think that's the issue. It's like people are just treating this as if it's like a much bigger deal than it actually is. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for actual news, because in a weird way, this is sort of the problem with a lot of the, how should I put this, Twitter content creators. I think calling them content creators isn't true because they just basically are vultures. Like they just go steal things that they see other places. But it's like the issue with relying on them as a worthy source. Like you could post some of the stuff that they said, just always take it with a grain of salt. Always assume that like they're hearing it like secondhand and that it may not actually be true. That's how I always treat them. Because it's like, oh, it's interesting if that's true, but you never know. Actually, I probably need to be running the pointsy on JP because like I don't really have that much. Yeah, okay. So like I only have like the normal stuff, but I think I'm pretty far behind on the points. It does say laid off, yeah. It wasn't the game director and the main dev, you know? Oh no, we know for a fact that that was not the case. So that's why like already you could just tell like people are trying to like just engagement bait constantly with this. They're trying to get people to click the story because they want that like engagement farm on people. So it's like when I start to see that, I immediately go like, okay, then you can't trust like anything that they say, in effect, because you know people are just spinning whatever the actual truth is. And yeah, if you go read the post, like the post is interesting with what it says, and it seems to be alleging that. But like I said, people have already dug into this and determined that that guy is apparently not nearly as important as he's as like his LinkedIn post is trying to make him sound. And I want to explain why a developer would do that. It's LinkedIn. So, chat, if you guys don't know what LinkedIn is, it's the business world's equivalent of a networking site. It is very frequently used for job hunting. And therefore, you can assume that just like how people like kind of hype themselves up on their resume, they're going to do the same thing on LinkedIn. So he knows Marvel Rivals is a very popular franchise. He knows it's very well received at the moment. So he's going to try to hype up his contribution to that. It makes perfect sense, right? Like if you worked on Marvel Rivals, you would too. You would also sit there and go like, yeah, oh man, I was working on Rivals. Yeah, bet you didn't know that, did you? Huh? Yeah, Rivals. Yeah. You just keep saying it over and over and over again in your interview and being like, see, I almost did it again. I almost frickin' bricked it again. Recetera is still around? Apparently. But yeah, so it's like, I think it's like, I'm sure they're not working anymore. Like, I don't doubt the validity of that. I just doubt like the actual story of like how important and impactful this guy was and how many people actually got fired. And we'll find out. Because, like I said, I'm not even sure you can count these guys as actual developers, at least from a conventional developer standpoint. Like, because in a weird way, chat, there are many, many things you could use to call someone a developer. But I think if you look at things from the lens of video game development, that's a lot different than maybe like AI development and coding development and that sort of stuff. So it's like if this is some sort of like outsourced company, I think at that point they maybe don't view them as the actual developers of the game. So that could be how NetEase could come out and say like, what do you mean? No, we haven't fired any devs. Because in their eyes, they don't consider them to be actual game devs, right? So that I think is maybe how both stories can be true at the same time. They were let go, but they weren't so like involved with the project that they were actually considered to be one of the project's devs. They were instead considered to be support staff for all intents and purposes. And so at that point, that would make both their statements kind of true. Only 24 million left on my last Mystic code. Nice. I'm done. And it is nice to be done. It is nice to not care at all about what I'm running. Let me back out here real fast just to see. They said they worked on level design. Yeah, from what I've heard, it was like something to do with AI in the level design. So I'm not sure if that meant like AI pathing. I'm not sure if that meant like the actual coding of the bots and how they react. I couldn't tell you, right? Like, but from what I'm understanding, they are at least some sort of like ancillary group. So it is what it is. But I'm also going to say it would be somewhat weird, for instance, if I were to put it this way. So like, and this is an interesting thing because like I've seen people say like, oh, well, Rivals is a really like popular and successful game. Why would they fire their devs? Like why would Rivals do that? And I can come up with any number of answers. Chat, just because your company makes money, just because it's successful, does that mean you should never fire an employee? And I want you to think about that. because that is how I can easily justify this. And not like trying to be an asshole, just in the sense of like, I can easily come up with any number of scenarios in which I would wish to get rid of an employee, despite my business being successful, despite my product being viral, even, you could say, right? Is an entire team that would be really weird? Not necessarily, because the way to understand it is in the game dev world, you usually have multiple teams. Okay. So let's say you had 3 teams working on level design. Now, let me ask you this. If one of those teams was outsourced and not in-house, and that team underdelivered, what do I mean by underdelivered? Maybe they were late perpetually. They missed deadlines perpetually. They were not working well with the other developers. They weren't communicating their issues, and they were having all sorts of problems. Would you not fire this group and go and get another group, either in-house or another outsourced one? I would. I would say this relationship is not working out. Goodbye. We're going to go get another group over here. Like some sort of new group. That's what I would do. But I actually don't think that's weird at all. I think that's just being business savvy. Cutting cost. Yeah, I've seen people say like that could be it, that they're cutting cost, and that may be the truth. Like, and in the game dev world, like I said, there is this idea of you want to kind of get people, they're there to do a job, and once they've done the job, you don't need them anymore. And this is where like the idea of like having contract and outsourced labor comes from. You bring people on to handle the load for the initial development phase because there's a huge crunch, and then you don't need them afterwards, so you get rid of them. Yeah, exactly like Ern said. Tyrant, thank you for the follow. Maybe they just don't need AI level design anymore until they started making more maps. See, this is really interesting, and this is why, like, I suspect that they don't do what everyone thinks they do, because with the new content update coming out Friday, we are getting a new map. And everyone assumes that they're going to keep doing this like every season. Like they're going to keep adding more maps. So it's like, I don't think they'd just get rid of a group like that if they were actually like, oh man, they're critical for like producing new maps. And we know there's going to be a demand for more new maps with each passing season. So it's like, I don't know about that. I think instead what the deal is there is like exactly like we thought. It's like they were there just to do a specific job and they're done, or they weren't doing their job and they got fired. Because I don't think it's like that's like a crazy thing to say. Oh wait, hold on. I wanted to go check my so 965,000. And God, how many? I'm supposed to get to 3 million by the end of this event? So you're just under track, yeah. I'm just trying to like buy up everything here and see kind of where I stand for the actual shop. Because there's still a lot of things I got to get out of the shop. So I think I don't run that. I think I try to run MLB of the other CEs. Let me make sure I have them all turned on. I do. And let's remove the temptation. And if I have to, I'll switch to points towards the end. Because I'm also likely instead to get like point C's to drop if I get a rainbow drop, right? And then essentially to get more in some way, shape, or form by doing that. So it's like it's better to focus on drops now and then switch to points more towards the end if I think I'm not going to make it. We all had the Lancer interludes to do. I mean, actually, let me go check. Because I don't know like how much, if any, I have to do. I also, at some point, I got to do the Ordeal Call 2 things, and I guess that. I mean, this is what I'm saying. They're almost giving us like too much crap. What am I doing? Okay, so I have Enkidu. Yeah, because I don't think I have Enkidu on JP. And Li Shuan. It looks like that's it. So it's just there 2 interludes. Well, I mean, we also for the first week didn't have the 90 plus plus. So that means that if I still manage to make it, despite not having it for 5 days, it should mean that I'm perfectly fine. Like I should make it, right? Problem is everybody just has MLB of the 3-star. So I'm like, crap, dude. I'm kind of hoping that there's like MLB of the 4-star or the 5-star, but I really think I think banner wise, people are rolling on the other banners and people aren't rolling the past 2 event banners. I don't think very many people rolled for Bichon or Komachi here. And like I don't think either of them are bad units or anything like that. I think they're just not like the immediately like insanely appealing units, and therefore everybody is choosing to focus on other stuff. First JP gives too little, now it's too much. Pick a lane. Listen, I'm always fine with JP like having some dead time and stuff like that, but I do agree like this is kind of too much. In the sense of they have added more to the shop, so you need to be as AP efficient with the shop as possible, but then simultaneously they're running a bunch of campaigns during the event. So you're like, what do you want me to do? Like do you want me to do the event or do you want me to do these campaigns? And so then you go and you do the campaigns, and then you're like, crap, I'm not going to finish the event in time because now I've spent more AP doing this stuff than I probably should have. Like for me, chat, I only have 2 interludes to do. But imagine a newer player that now has all of their interludes to do. Right here, right now. They're temporarily available. It's like, that's kind of rough. I don't think that's like the smartest design choice on their part. But I also understand they kind of have to get all these banners done, so they just kind of got to force it. The good news is, at least they have allowed us now to do storm pods during the actual event. So there we go. Finally, something other than the Bronze Sea. Yeah, if you guys have other craft essences, especially if you got them MLB, put them up for me. I'll just apple it. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what the devs' logic is there too. They just are gonna go like, okay, well, whatever, just apple it. Like, stop your whining. And honestly, I don't think it's like, that's not objectively speaking wrong. The devs have an Apple problem, and I don't know how like they're gonna convince people otherwise. Every week there's interludes for me to do. Yeah. I think Kamachi and Bichon's kits are not appealing combined with other banners, with way more appealing units. Let me put it to you this way. It's not that they're unappealing. Right? Because the issue at play here is that every unit is on rate up. So, like, technically not all at the same time, right? But the idea here is that the units, it's not necessarily an issue with their appeal, but in order for them to win this, they would literally have to be more appealing than every unit currently on rate up. And that is difficult. Because most people are going to look at that and they're going to go like, hey, there's that unit that I wanted. There's that unit that I really think is hot. Like, that's tough. And for better or worse, Lancers? I've said this before, chat, but do any of you not have a Lancer waifu? I'm actually curious. Do any of you not have a Lancer waifu? Because I think Lancers, objectively speaking, are one of the most stacked classes in the entire game for waifu appeal. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So it's like going up against the Lancers, it's just kind of rough. Like, that's just, it is what it is. So again, I think it's like you look at Komachi. I don't think Komachi's kit's bad. In fact, I would make an argument that for the average player, Komachi's kit is better than Bashone's was. Right? But that's tough because you need the resources available to roll and have the desire to roll, and that desire cannot be trumped by a desire to roll the other units currently on rate up. So I think in a weird way, the devs have put themselves between a rock and a hard place with this. They're going to make a lot of money off these banners, but their unique banners for their new units likely won't perform as well because of that. And it's going to take them releasing somebody that's like actually like insanely cracked or insanely sexy in some way, shape, or form to make people go like, wait, no, I gotta get that. I have to get that. You are the perfect example. Yes. Komachi's kit is great. She's an excellent unit in a field of absolutely fantastic units. Yeah, and that's the issue at play. Like, chat, am I using Komachi to do this node right now? Like, no, I'm rolling right through it with Ace. Like, it's kind of rough. I'd want to roll more units to some of the standard rate up Valentines. True. I have the MLB point ladder C. The point ladder C is the one I don't need. See, Turbo's got me. Turbo, I love you. Turbo has the MLB gold C. I need the gotcha Cs, and that's what I was saying. Like, I don't think a lot of people have rolled the gotcha is the problem. I think if a meta unit or one of the big three heroines drops, but if not, everyone's focusing on the other banners. Yeah, that is kind of the like succinct way of putting what I'm trying to say. It's the unit has to be really good gameplay wise or extremely aesthetically appealing. Otherwise, people are going to just keep focusing on the other banners. They're not going to care. And we can kind of go back to that discussion we've been having the past couple weeks about like, is Quick actually in a good situation? And I think at least some of the people probably look at Komachi and go, well, she's Quick, so I don't care. So it is what it is. I think that makes the case for her being mid, though. See, here's the issue that I have whenever you use the terminology mid. I'm going to ask you to rephrase that because mid is negative. It is a negative connotation. Nobody ever uses mid meaning that something is like positive. They always mean this in a negative way. So I'm going to ask you to like rephrase it because instead when you say this, you're implying that she's somehow bad and she's not. She's absolutely a fantastic unit still. That's a mid take. See, there you go. That already has negative stigma. Yep. Bichon is closer to mid. Yeah, see, like, I think Bichon, the problem with Bichon, if there is one, right? The problem is simply that Bichon is not your average, like, unit that is designed to work, like, off the rip and really easily, like, pound through content. Bichon is a wind-up unit, and wind-up units are not meta, for better or worse. Like, most people just want the one-shot unit. They don't want to have to sit there and stack a bunch of, like, a bunch of debuffs on an enemy to then be able to deal decent damage. So I think that's really, like, the bad thing that harms her probably the most. But I think if you get her into that situation, she's quite good. I think there she excels. And so the issue at play is simply that sort of situation is absolutely not meta. Like, put another way, and to let you guys understand this, we've had this discussion recently about Draco. The idea being that Draco is somehow less good because we are going to have some upcoming fights against the extra classes. Now, that's weird because obviously there's still a shit ton of fights that aren't extra classes, but people are choosing to magnify that point. So I would counter then, if that is true, in a unit that has its usefulness degraded due to the availability of viable content, then you pretty much have to, from that same mentality, look towards every single challenge unit in the game and declare them bad, which I don't think is true at all. But that's the reason that I keep saying, like, people are kind of using backward logic to somehow slander Draco. It makes zero sense to me. And I think when you look at that sort of stuff, you go like, huh? How does that make her bad? And you really like begin to think about that. And especially for someone like me that has gone through all the content on JP and knows kind of what we'll be facing, as well as the fact that not all of it is extra classes and that the majority of it actually isn't extra classes still, makes me go like, yeah, this is just a really weird argument to make. That's so mean, gets misunderstood by anyone who never took statistics. Yep. It's about how you use her and what the fights entail. Yeah, 100%. And so it's like, to me, that's the reason that I offered Bichon up as a don't roll. Because I knew if I told you guys to roll Bichon, everyone would start screaming and being like, what do you mean? She's not a good unit, blah, 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 blah. But that's because I knew where she's good at is just not what the community like desires out of a unit. It doesn't mean that she's a bad unit. It's just the majority of the community will not be able to see the forest for the trees on Bichon. So I just was like, yeah, don't. Like roll for Bichon if you want to, But my general consensus advice is don't, because most people won't find that need, that necessity. Well, to be fair, JC, I do a 45-minute explanation on every unit, so I don't think that really weighs in. Try explaining standard deviation between servants and class. I've definitely used the terminology before, and I definitely understand it. I'm not sure the rest of everyone here does. Yeah, it's the same deal. It's like people don't understand statistics very well. And I myself am not exactly a statistics expert, so. Draco is probably good for the CQ. Well, hold on, let's see. What is this CQ? Assuming like JP even has it. Probably shouldn't go to like fandom for this. Yeah, they don't have it. All right, App Media, where are you? Old reliable. Dun, 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 dun. Who queued up the Final Fantasy X music? Alba. Thank you, Alba. Adding that to the playlist. A bunch of units with different classes. That's the CQ. Yeah, I mean, that sounds great for Draco then. Okay. Musume Fusahose. So yeah, it looks like Servant Gauntlet. And of that, the only extra class is an Avenger. Each turn, one servant. Corresponding to the first phase will be selected, and attacking any other targets will increase the attack count. Depending on the number of touch counts, you'll be given effects such as Noble Phantasm Seal that ignores resistances, a Skill Seal, or a Stun. So you need to be careful when moving around. Oh, god damn it. This kind of makes you want to do a single target then. It's really funny because the Google Translate with this chat, it goes like, here are the gimmicks with increased number of touches. Noble Phantasm Sealing, 2 turns, which actually equals 1 turn in real life. And then it goes, Skill Seal, 3 turns, which is equal to 2 turns effectively. And I know why. It's because when you're hitting it, you've already like had your turn at that point, so you've already like issued the command, so it technically doesn't matter if like something seals you at that point. So they're saying it's like, okay, well it'll be a 2-turn seal effective after that. But it's funny because of the way it translated it. Yeah, stun 4 turns, but 3 turns in real terms. Okay, then it looks like when you defeat a servant that is not the target for attack, a servant whose special resistance has been removed, various buffs will be granted. Okay. Oh, come on. This is not fair. Oh. Servant that is the target of the attack is granted special resistances with a high multiplier. Their HP is actually harder to reduce than it appears. Be careful of accidents when dealing with single targets using rapid fire arts. Oh no. um so it sounds like what they're saying. It's a 7 enemy CQ. And it sounds like if you do a bunch of stuff, you end up getting like NP sealed or what's the term I'm looking for? You get stunned if you hit like units 3 times. So you really want to avoid doing a bunch of stuff like that. So it sounds to me like what they're saying is you want to use like an AoE turn 1, then crit someone, then AoE again to finish everything off. So you basically kill 3, then 1, then 3. And that does track because I think what that happens is like, so you'll get MP sealed after you do this, then you crit someone and it goes bye bye. And then you NP again. You get stunned if you AoE NP. So wait, okay, hold on then. Am I not understanding it? Because I thought you only stack the effect if you're hitting the quote unquote correct unit. Yeah, Buntori is who I was thinking, but every turn you can attack one enemy and the other two penalize you. Well, then if that's the case, then you would only get 2 stacks with an AoE. So that means I would get what, like NP sealed and skill sealed? But I wouldn't get stunned. If you card it all after you get stunned, true. Well, not if I'm hitting the correct unit. Because what they're saying is the correct unit actually has resistances. So it's meant to be a like delaying effect. But so what you could do is you could like AoE into the correct unit and then card them and use that to finish them off. And then you could still do your 3-1-3. At least that's my understanding. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but chat, does the point C confer or the lock on chocolate, do either of them confer damage bonus? I don't think they do. I know like the lock on chocolate gives you it gives you like card type up for whichever one you select. They did AoE crit AoE. Yeah, that's my understanding because like it's 7 units, so that would theoretically be the fastest, anyways. As the card type up, I don't think so. Because in theory, I can like do the whole thing with Buntoria, but the problem is going to be that Avenger in Wave 2. So we already know I don't need the Buster Lock on chocolate for Ace to do the 90 plus plus. Oh crap. Okay, that is Lancer right there. And that's Lalter right there. So this is the Lancers that we're in. It goes class order and I believe alphabetical. That was Habitrot. It was Caster Umu. I think that's Zerker Nobu right there. Is it that one? That's Series Heroin X, isn't it? Wait, hold on. You had it? It is this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Because there's the cards. Yeah, and you can see the casino in the background. Okay, I just wanted to make double sure because it's like I think that's it, but I don't remember specifically. Okay, so we'll grab that for her. And I'm trying to think of how I want to set up the supports for this. Chat, it's Bunny, and she invites you back to the VIP room. I don't know if you guys have ever watched this Valentines, but it's fantastic. Some would say the best. Okay. In theory, I don't need anyone else, but like I could do the standard conventional double Skya Oberon. Yeah, I know. I'm just like I'm well, so if I'm doing 3 in the enemy wave, I don't think it really matters, right? Like cuz I can Oberon boost so that I can get over the top of that that Avenger at that point. Maybe pre-buff with Merlin too. Well, the issue would be wait, but hold on. That lock on Choco, does it give me 50% charge? Let me go look at the actual effect of the lock on Choco, because like I kinda need to know. JP is just bond plus card up. So is it 50% bond? Is that the 50% that I saw? Yeah, JP's always harder for me, chat, because like I can't read. So I have to like crowdsource some of the info from you guys or go like hard find it in some like buried Japanese website. Because unfortunately, for better or worse, fandom does not update very quickly for JP content anymore. Yes, okay. Just learn the moon runes? Yeah, no, it's definitely my weakness. Um, so what do we have? What is in the actual node? Because I can probably do some command codes. So it's Tame Tomo. It's Ryder Canis and Jack are wave 1. Then it's Caligula. Um, Summer Shufu, who is the Avenger. Summer Ushi. And the Trung sisters. Official patch notes are live cat. Oh, send them my way. I'd love to see that. Bunch of man attribute units and a few earth. Okay. For anti-man, yeah. That's I'm like sitting here like trying to think of like what I can do to get me the most mileage. Specifically, what is the trait of Summer Shufu? He is man. Okay, so she won't be too hard. Like we'll already naturally have that going for us. Go look at the codes. I do not remember what I have equipped to my rider or ruler rather. So I had the burn command codes on Bunny, which I know why I have the burn command codes on Bunny. You're talking about this CC one. Let me see what other command codes I can scrounge up here. What did I click on? I clicked on the completely wrong thing. Holy crap. Yeah, I probably will do Gil. Hey, I should put Bunny's command code on. Yeah, because the other this is the one I'm looking for, because the other one is I think that's anti-divine. Where's the Arcuid one? That one should be new as well. Anti-chaotic and 5% NP gain. There's the Rat Dweller's Paradise, but has NP damage up, which is not the best. I think we'll actually swap this for that. Should be a couple divines in here. Yeah, I guess we can do the Roman trait one. I think it's ironically enough, I think that's on my Draco right now. Wait, where is it? There it is. Probably better to put that on like one of the Buster cards, but it is what it is. Roma. Okay. So we'll run that and let's see. We're gonna have to test this one out. I'll probably like stack the composition somewhat. It's not gonna matter, but so nowadays, chat, you can like welfare have gotten Ox Demon King. And then I have been very lucky and I have managed to get this one, which gives attack up of 10% to everybody. Non MLB, of course. So if I was gonna use Merlin, it'd probably be to my benefit to save Merlin for turn 2 when I'm gonna crit. At least that's how I would think about it. And then what C do I want to use? Because yeah, the Shop C does not have damage bonus, so Shop C just has starting charge. Well, I need 3 turns, but I need 2 NPs. She already has 40%. She'll definitely refund 20% herself. So she comprises... Actually, she already has an append. So she comprises 80% of the charge herself. Literally double Koyan is 100%, and Oberon or Merlin is the other 20. Actually, he's technically 30 now, but we should be fine. That should be just enough. Yeah, I'm more just sitting here thinking like, should I actually go with Black Grail from the standpoint of one, I don't have MLB anyways, and two, I have to crit that wave down. But we'll try it. I think like let's go with it and let's see. Um I think what I'm gonna do is turn one, I'm basically gonna pop all of her stuff and go ahead and use all of this Koyan and then just immediately rotate. And that should help. That should get me all of what I need. But let's see. Because this might actually be a pretty simplistic one. Although it may be simplistic for what I'm trying to do because I have a really stacked bunny and I have a again one of the most consistent karting units in the game. So we'll see if I get screwed turn two, but it assumes that first of all we can overcome this first hurdle because this is a lot of firepower necessary. Okay. So the one I'm supposed to hit is the one on the right. Wait. Yeah. Okay, so I got that backwards then. The one that has resistances is the other ones. Hmm. This could be spicy then. If I do it this way, I'm not necessarily going to have Star Bomb for turn two. Without knowing the actual raw firepower here, this is a little bit rougher. So let's send it and let's see kind of what happens just off the rip. I may have to scuff this. Yeah, it's not nearly enough firepower. Hmm. So I guess well, I mean, again, I think the only thing that I'm worried about, is the actual, like, skill seal. Because then I can't potentially double up with Bunny. Hmm. So now we've added in the Merlin buffs. Wow. Wow. So she just hard stunned herself right there. So Probably just need more damage amplification. Could we pre-card, then MP, then card more? If we do, I instantaneously get stunned. Because what happened there was I hit 2 enemies. That got me 2 stacks, which got me to skill seal. And then I carded once, and that got me to stun. So I didn't card like the third card or the extra attack. So it's kind of rough because I need to overcome those first 2. So it's Tame Tomo and Ryder Canis are my problems. So let's start there. Sekiro. So he's man attribute. So I mean, I kind of should be shredding him, but I think the issue at play here is just the raw damage resistance of these two. What about cards that grant you debuff immunity? I don't think it matters because I believe what it is these. It's a 3 strikes you're out thing. So I think they're already on you and you cannot possibly avoid them. But maybe I'm misinterpreting that. Don't know if anybody can read Japanese. Well, given the fact that it's 1, 2, and 3, I suspect that is what the mechanic is. That's no problem, Wood. Hope you have a good one. And Ryder Canis is Earth, so she's honestly probably the hard one. Hmm. He's divine, he's not. This is a spicy one. The stacks are 500%. Oh, yuck. No wonder. I mean, I'm doing like they're left with about 100k, but that's a lot more damage amplification. I think this would be a little bit better if I had an MLB Black Grail, but I don't. Hmm. You use other units cards. True. I'd just probably rather use hers. But I mean, like, ideally, I kind of need to outright kill with this. So it's somewhat difficult. I'm just trying to think of how I can amplify the damage more. Because like if they were both divine, I have an answer for that, but I don't know that bunny can. This is kind of the issue because this is a perfect bunny too. It's a 120 NP5 2K. Like again, maybe if I had the MLB Black Grail, but I think this is not possible. So I could try to use bunny as the support and try to use a like better off AoE damage dealer, but the problem is I already gave bunny the lock on chocolate. And my Morgan's not strong on JP. I mean, my Musashi is, but like. Yeah, Cuckoo's anti-Earth, and you can stack her with Man. So that's like I was rolling both those ideas around in my head. My problem is my Morgan is only NP1 on JP, despite my best efforts, and I have tried to roll more. Just like I've tried to do it via GSSR, so that hasn't worked out. She's NP1 level 100. My Cuckoo is NP2 level 90. I mean, we could always go the single target route, but well, no. Also not strong on JP. Damn it. I mean, I can attempt to Earth Loop this, but I can't amplify the damage as much. Like, Buster is usually the more synergistic for this sort of thing. Fully at MLB, I know. Game continues to screw me. Well, you know what, chat? Let's kill it. Let's see how the fight fares if I just brute force my way through it. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, how does that make any sense? They're all resistant. Um, Do you have Miss Crane? Not on JP. We've tried stacking a Rash in P into Bunny. I thought about that, but a Rash isn't going to provide that much firepower. Like, I could rotate the party with that, but I'm not going to get a whole lot out of it. Oh, she's actually stunned here. What the shit? Oh, wait, does Tommy Tomo have Invuln Pierce? No, I think he has Sure Hit, doesn't he? Yeah. Oh, no, he does have Invuln Pierce. Oh, crap. All right, let's not do that. He has both Sure Hit and Invuln Pierce and Defense Pierce. Tommy Tomo's not someone I want to leave alive. I'm so confused though. Wait, why did I get stunned? Oh wait, no, because he was the only one left alive. Okay, so that's why. So like my subsequent cards must have gone over to the other unit. So I can maybe make that work. Because at this point, I kinda want to do it with Bunny. Second attack was third tick. Yeah. I just didn't notice my cards went over. Maybe even Atlas for cleanse. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe if the stun isn't an uncleansable. I didn't even pay attention to that. But I think at this point, like, I'm just not going to 3-turn, and I'm going to try to kind of brute force this. At least to the extent that it lets me. Unfortunately, I think I'm just going to kill Jack outright here. I'm trying to, like, lowball this on purpose. Okay, there we go. Now I'm in P sealed. Okay. Should bring in Caligula. God, they're slaughtering Left Koyan. So I don't like that. It doesn't, like, go down by a tick. Like, I think I have to wait fully for that to expire? Or do I have to wait out the stun? Like, at this point, now I'm confused by what the mechanic is. Okay, so... Well, I can crit that dead. The problem is Tomatomo... Tomatomo's going to start Tomatomoing, and I'm not going to have anything. 'Cause, Let's just stun myself and see what happens. But see, I think that the issue is it's a 3-turn stun, but I want to see that stun again. So it's a boxed stun. So I don't know that I can. I definitely can't cleanse it, but I don't know if I can prevent it from landing. I have 2 Koyan cards to get this done. Hmm. Doesn't really matter. Wow, she did it. Okay, now all units are on the field. This is absolutely not clean. Stunned for 2 more turns. Koyan's buff comes back in 1. I risk like bricking Koyan if I use her in P, but I could also like the drain would be nice. And she does have the Buster buff right now. I think I do it just to get as much damage as possible. But it's not going to be a lot. Yeah, the party charge is definitely a nice aspect as well. I'm just thinking about it from the standpoint of I kind of want to delay like Caligula and to an extent Shufu from getting to their NPs. Yuck. Okay, so Merlin's gonna die if I don't do something here. So we kind of gotta do it. And then I think this is the just objectively best play. We invuln and we play for time. Merlin carry time? Well, he's not gonna carry if he gets womboed on the next turn. These guys are kind of hitting hard. And now Koyan is skill sealed for 1 more turn. Oh, this is not good. Hmm. I could plug for MASH. Taunt now would help. I know. I'm just kind of want to risk it, but we can still give everybody the defense up. Honestly, let's let them go free for right now. We're gonna try to get as much firepower in on Shufu here as we can. Again, the problem is Shufu basically needs to die, because if not, she has the potential to wreck Bunny. And she's kind of one of the only ones that does. I'm not terribly worried about Caligula in that regard. Okay, that's a crap ton of charge. And man, the game is just hard screwing me right now on being able to get to bunnies and P. I can sack Mash on the next turn if I want. One of those weird times where it may have actually been better to have the Ortnaeus version of Mash equipped. Because it could have done a bunker bolt there and gotten a little bit more firepower out of that. Did I ever read Tsukihime? No, I've not read through it. I have read quite a bit about it. He should be man, not divine. I didn't really want to stun Koyan, but I think okay, that's oh man, that's shit. I can card shuffle here, but I actually have the right card. So I think I saved the card shuffle for a turn where I don't want to deal with that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to taunt there. I'm going to invuln here. Oh. Well, I only have the one Buster buff. My bunny's kind of cracked. I'm just worried about stunning Bunny as well. I've also got the Roman trade on. I mean, I could kill Caligula now and then just try to weather the NPs here. Problem is, Shufu has a chance to instant kill. Oh, right. Yeah, she's single target in this one, isn't she? I totally forgot about that. My brain was thinking she was AoE. I don't know why. I think I was thinking of Tlaloc. Okay. So then it's Mash that's gonna um yeah, let's send it. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Shouldn't have staggered the cards. That's kind of dumb, though, that the stacks never go away. You never have the opportunity to reduce it. So if I ever touch, ever again, a unit that is not the optimal unit, I immediately stun myself for 3 turns. That's such a, like, oof thing. If you get stunned anyway, I think I'd likely NP. The problem is that I have 2 units that are stunned for 3 turns, so I don't think I would. I think it's a bad play. Okay, so Mash is NP sealed. That kind of sucks, but whatever. Only for the 1 turn. Yeah, so much for 3 turning this. I saw this and I was like, we're kind of wasting too much time on this. Let me just go ahead and defeat it. So she does get the death proc. Actually, no, she probably just killed her. I didn't even think about that. So that's a delayed stun, so that won't matter. Oh, did it taunt glitch? Is that why? Oh no. Oh no. Thank God they don't have any sort of pierce. So he should be coming out of this in 2 turns. It's weird, but like I'm just worried about NPing here because I'd have to NP last. This is not gonna kill, but yeah, we're close. So again, we didn't do the optimal 3-1-3 strategy, but mostly because I don't think my JP account's capable of it. My NA account certainly would be. My JP is not. There were probably better ways that I could go about boosting it, but I think I kind of screwed myself when I committed the lock on Choco. Yeah. So I just like, I looked at that and I'm like, no, that's probably not a good idea. Okay, so nobody died. We got lucky. Oh, I could have done that. Wow, what are these cards? I'd probably be better off having popped that on a different turn, but well, let's send it. Let's see what happens. Because she can kill Shu Fu. It's possible for MHX to kill here. So she does. Oh, she kills both. Sweet. It works. They need to stop making CQ so annoying like this. I don't find this that annoying. I think this one was fine, other than there were a lot of mechanics. Let me state this. When it comes to CQs, I think Servant Gauntlets are the most fair and fun CQs to do because it makes you sit there and try to think and figure them out and try to handle the order of operations. They're never terribly complex. They're just complex because there's a lot of moving parts. And I think that's fine compared to some of the other gimmicks that they put in some of the other CQs that make it where it's like you have to read a college thesis of like all the gimmicks and stuff that's going on. This one was just literally they wanted you to hit certain units at a certain time so that you didn't do it. So like we functionally did it single target. I just did it single target with almost all crits. So that would have been how to do it. Like I said, my only complaint about this one is that like the stacks never wore off. So if you hit the wrong one like ever, it really did just kind of screw you. So you basically you either min turn with AoEs or you shouldn't use an AoE at all is the way to think about it. And it's really funny because when I was looking at it on App Media, they were warning about using like they were warning about using single targets, but I actually think single target is just the safest and fastest way to do that. Like outside of min turning, right? But yeah, no, I really did not think this one was that bad. I wouldn't say this one was that easy. I'm just gonna say that this one, like, I don't know. Out of all the CQs, I like Servant Gauntlet CQs because they're wholly like self-contained, and it's usually just the mechanics of the units and then whatever the primary mechanic is of the Servant Gauntlet. Yep. So I didn't think that one was bad. Okay. So chat, now I need to record a new video with you guys. And I had kind of mentioned this video before, so this shouldn't be like some sort of like crazy thing. And we're actually on the perfect server to show this off. Whoops. Not this. Not this chat. Although, hold on. Let's see. Let's see who's on rate up. So many units. Ah, wife. I still find it funny that you had the 100 spin, but you do the free spin for 10. I don't think it's crazy. I just find it funny. Karna pause champ? Yeah, Karna. Karna's there to go with your Janako. All right, chat. It's time. It's time for, how do I put this? The class score guide. Ba, 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 ba. Avalon, one question real quick. Is it infinitely scaling? The third page. Yeah. Or did they put a cap on it? Do you remember? No, I meant on the third page of your sheet. Yes, that. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. That's why I was like, I thought there was a cap. Because I didn't want to like say something wrong. And let me get this right, chat. So we currently have Moon Cancer and Avenger. And Alter Ego and Pretender. We are missing Beast and Foreigner. And Ruler and Shielder. And yes, Stupa. I'm trying to remember exactly when we got it, because didn't we get we got Pretender after one of the, I'll just call it beast fights. Yeah. Like Alter Ego was Ordeal Call 1. Moon Cancer was Ordeal Call 3. Avenger was Ordeal Call 2. Sorry. God, what am I doing? Tender was a beast fight. You're saying the second one. And then wait, what's the other one I'm missing? Hold on. We have Avenger, Moon Cancer. Alter Ego. Which is interesting because we're missing 4. We're missing 4, and there's only one more known ordeal call left. So Ruler is going to be OC3 probably. Or sorry, OC4. Which leaves Shielder, Foreigner, and what else? What am I not thinking of? Beast. Yeah, Beast itself. Um. Yeah, my guess is Shielder's the actual end. So we probably get another one from one of the Beast fights. We get Ruler from Ordeal Call 4. So maybe we get two from the Beast fights, or maybe there is an Ordeal Call 5. It's a weird thing. But sorry, I'm just thinking about that. So Ordeal Call 1. Probably May. And then Ordeal Call 2. Wait, did we go like an entire year between 1 and 2? When it was 2? Is March? Jesus, that was a long time. Yeah, there it is. We're gonna go May to March. Woo! That's gonna be a spicy amount of time with no story. Well, yeah, because like you had that in March, and then Ordeal Call 3 was like what, like August. Yeah, August 28th. And so now it's been since August since we've had a story chapter released technically, which is kind of spicy again, but it is what it is. I think that's why they're saying like early spring basically. Okay. Sorry, I wanted that one to be like coherent and in my head. um and then the recent change to the Stardust. Wait, did they up the amount of Stardust that we get from the notes, chat? Or was it just because I think it was base 10 and now it's what, base 20 or 30? Ten to 20. Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got all this right. Because this is like, I got a lot to talk about here. I'm also debating if I should like talk a lot about the Bleached Earth stuff. Kind of a lot to go over here. Hmm. It would be nice to freely use storm pods on random nodes. I don't think they're gonna give it to you right away though. I really don't. Wait, is there a summary of the Bleached Earth nodes on fandom at all? Yeah, I was hoping for more of a visual summary. Crap. I'll have to ad lib this part. It is what it is. Not sure if that helps. Yeah, if it's just a listing of the quests, it doesn't. I was hoping more for like hey, these are the nodes and these are when they release. I think that's how App Media does it, and I think App Media's actually. Let me see. Let me see if App Media has the page. Be the first time I've ever shown App Media on a video. If I do, absolutely worthy of it though. Good old O'Deal call. I'm just debating how much of this I actually wish to mention. So they do mention it, and they do kind of mention them in order, but it's displayed really crappily on there too. So I'm not going to mention that. Okay, like a map with mats. I think who made that is Cone. If one of you can find it for me real quick on his Twitter, because Cone usually makes those infographics like that. Yeah, see if he has one that's like kind of a picture of the nodes and stuff. Because that would, I think, be ideal. Okay. Let me get set up here. Just DM it to me if you find it, Avalon. Okay. Wait, I need to go in here. This is where I need to start out. Hey guys, my name's Kadroth, and today we're going to be going over the new upcoming class score and bleached Earth systems that you guys are going to need to know about for the NA server. So pretty soon here on NA, we will now be getting towards Ordeal Call and its beginning. We've actually already had the prologue, but pretty much here coming up in May, we can kind of expect that they're going to drop a lot of this stuff on us. And there's going to be a lot of systems that you guys are maybe not going to be super familiar with. So I just kind of wanted to show you this was the roadmap. You guys can see we are already through early February here with the Valentines event. We're going to be having Chaldea Boys come up. Then late March here, we're going to be having the collab event for Lilim Harlot. Late April is going to be a lottery event upcoming. And then kind of right in between here for May and June, you guys can probably expect that we will be getting Ordeal Call. It's also possible that somehow they fit it in somehow right here in between, maybe in April instead of May. But either way, I think you guys can expect it to fit into one of those gaps. And I'm going to say a lot of stuff is going to be kind of coming out in the game at that time, and a lot of people are going to have questions. So this is really what this guide is designed to do. It's designed to give you guys an idea about how these systems work. So the first thing I really want to talk about is the fact that when we actually get to Ordeal Call, you guys are going to be getting a sort of new reward system depending on the number of units that you guys have available. So you guys can see we've actually shown you guys a little bit of a rewards overview here. Avalon was kind enough to make the spreadsheet for us. And these are going to be all materials that you guys are going to get given to you depending on the status of your account. And naturally, if you're somebody that's already all the way through Part 1 and Part 2, at least through the Lost Belt portion of Part 2, because Ordeal Call is considered still Part 2, but as long as you're through the Lost Belt portion and you're getting to Ordeal Call, you're going to be getting all of these materials. And so you guys can see there's a ton here. There's a ton of mana prisms, up to 1,700 for the maximum, 108 rare prisms you can be given, 63 grail fragments, which again at 7 fragments per is the equivalent at that point of basically 9 grails right there. 9 grails themselves just straight up. And then again, pretty much 500 million in QP, 27 crystallized lores, 480 normal foes. Now, I want to be clear here. That is actual foes. I'm not saying like, hey, this is, things where it's like, oh, hey, maybe it's some sort of like batch or something. No, this is just actually 480. This is going to be enough for a ton of units for you guys. So again, there's a ton of rewards that are going to be given to you guys. 180 gold foes. Now, if you guys remember, you end up using, I think it's, what's the magic number there? Is it 50 gold foes per? Maybe I'm wrong on that. Per unit. So this is enough for at least like 3 more units right here, just off the rip. And 405 faux paw prints. I always make a big deal out of this number because this number, this currently available maximum amount of faux paw prints that you can get from this campaign is so many faux paw prints that it is more than the sum total that can possibly have been collected since the release of faux paw prints in the game. So you're going to be given an amount greater than you could have ever possibly collected up until that point. That's an insane influx of faux paw prints. So you're going to be able to get done again like another 3+ units in this regard. It's definitely going to be a really, really nice thing. And then 36 bond grails as well. I still have not used all of these on my JP account. I'm still swimming in them. So there's just a ton of rewards here for you guys to be able to get. But what's going to be the factor that is going to determine this? Well, it's going to actually be the ascensions of your servants that you have in your account. So to make this clear, we've made a calculation thing here for the rewards, and you guys can see there is a maximum count essentially on the Ascension rewards. So if you're looking at this and it's like, oh, okay, I have Ascension rewards, how much can I possibly get of this? Well, and we use the example up here, it's like if you have 5 sabers max ascended, you would enter 20 for that class because there are 4 ascensions for each saber at that point. There's 4 ascensions really for every single class. So at that point, if you had 5 sabers max ascended, you'd enter 20 here, and then that would calculate the amount of the rewards that you guys are going to get. Same thing over here for skill levels. You can see there is a maximum count, but again, this is going to be, hey, like, what's the max that you can have of your skills? Every skill that you have at like rank 10, so you can count up to 10, or again, just the total aggregate amount of your skill levels. If you add all this in, it'll give you the calculations for these rewards. Same thing over here for the servant levels. The more levels that you have, and you guys can see there are a ton potentially here, up to 2,500 being the max for certain classes, and then your extra classes being 1,250 down here. So there's still a lot of rewards you can get out of that. And then bond levels as well here being the final determining factor for things like bond grails. So the more mileage that you've put into your account, the more rewards you're going to receive at that point in time. Now, keep in mind, again, oh, sorry, yeah, level 1 doesn't count, so I guess the maximum for skill levels is level 9. That is my bad on that one. But keep in mind, if you have a newer account or you haven't been developing some of your other units, you're not going to get as many rewards. So this is very much a, how much you put in is how much you get out type of system, and you really want to try and get the most that you can out of it. However, there is no limitation to this. This will continue to go. Just keep in mind that even if you don't have all the rewards now, you can collect them later. However, there is a maximum count for each of these sort of groupings. So there is a point where, like, yeah, if you hit that max amount, then you can't get any more rewards, because as of right now, they still have not raised the upper limit of this. This is going to be a new milestone type feature coming into the game with the release of Ordeal Call sometime, like I said, around May. Now, on top of that, there's also going to be the class score system. So as we switch back to this, you guys can see on screen now, this is class score. Now, class score works by function of you doing the Bleached Earth quests that will be available. And to make that a little bit more clear, I'm going to go ahead and show that to you now. So we'll come back to this class score screen, but the reason you're going to want to partake in the class score system is going to be because you can buff your individual classes. So here is where your Ordeal Call stuff is going to be handled, both story chapters and Bleached Earth Quest. So to give you guys a little bit of a depiction of it, you guys can see we actually have a fully rotatable globe in here. Again, it's definitely an interesting and cool way that they've done this. There are going to be individual nodes, aka free quests, in here that you guys can get done. Now, technically, not every quest that will appear here will be a free quest. There will be some challenge quests as well, but they're sort of one-off fights. So you'll have the opportunity to complete them, and once you complete them, they will go away. But those will give you other rewards, including certain things for class score. Each and every node that you do will give you 10 Stardust on release. JP actually just increased this amount to 20. You're going to want that Stardust. That currency is going to be what you're going to use for, again, purchasing things in class score. However, how you're going to be able to do these nodes is going to be your storm pods. If you're unfamiliar with what storm pods are going to be these little indicators down here. You may have seen them on, again, my stream or other content creators. And what this is a mechanic that they're going to implement for the Bleached Earth nodes. It is for a couple of reasons. The biggest one that they have stated, and they have said this out loud in interviews, is that they wanted to limit our capacity to do the Bleached Earth nodes because, quote unquote, we would just immediately complete and grind out everything if they allowed us to. And I'm not going to say that that's entirely wrong, because there are some people out there that would do that, but the way to understand storm pods is that they are a currency that is given to you each and every day. So each day you are going to get 3 storm pods given to you. There is a maximum you can hold of 9 currently. So after 3 days, you will have hit your cap of 9 out of 9 storm pod nodes. So you don't want to go more than 3 days without using your storm pods. If you do, then you will end up wasting your storm pods, and you really don't want to waste them. Why? Because they are an extremely lucrative commodity. You see, the reason that they cap these nodes predominantly, not just because it affects your ability to do class score, but it's because some of these nodes are actually the best possible node that you can farm for their individual materials. And in fact, you can see the way JP has been running them of late is that during events, they actually give you a 50% AP down cost. So these nodes normally cost 40 AP and 1 storm pod to do. This is a really good thing because it basically allows you to sit there and say, okay, I need to do my 3 runs a day in order to get my daily tickets and mana prisms. So I'm going to use the 3 storm pods that I get to be my 3 runs, and then maybe make blue apples with the rest, or go and spend your AP elsewhere in other free quests or events or things like that. When this system first comes out, they will not have the 50% AP down probably during events. That is going to be a little bit spicy, as you're going to have to really balance how you handle storm pods with event demands. You can still do both and, again, not waste anything. I do have a little bit of a trick in that regard, and that's because as you go to do your storm pods, remember you can only store up to 9 of them. So usually what you want to do is you want to start out an event having none of them. That is to say, you've used them all. So you go into the event having none, you complete the event the first day, and you keep kind of going as normal. And then what you want to do is each day when you receive the storm pods, keep doing them. Make sure you do your 3 runs every single day for your storm pods until you get to the last 3 days of the event. With the last 3 days of the event, what you want to do is you want to stop doing your storm pods and let them accumulate up to 9 out of 9. Then as the event ends, you will be able to complete it at maximum efficiency. So if you're worried about not having enough AP maybe to complete the event, you should be fine. And this can be a little bit of a way to stretch. However, you may still find that you're somehow short. If you didn't roll, you may need to pop an apple, but this is a trick that I've found works for me quite frequently. So then the event will end, and what you need to do is you need to spend at least 3 storm pods before you get given storm pods the next day at the next server reset. So if you can manage to do that, you'll be fine. You won't waste any of your storm pods. So again, it's just a little bit of a min-maxing trick that I used to do back in the day before they gave us these 50% AP downs during events. Interestingly enough, JP has also now allowed, with a new quality of life, the ability to spend storm pods on any node out there in the world and still receive Stardust from it. That is a nice change. It does free things up a little bit. It means you don't have to do the Bleached Earth nodes. However, in general, even if NA doesn't get that quality of life early, which I assume that it won't, you still kind of want to do the Bleached Earth quests with your storm pods if possible. There is a little bit of a conundrum, as JP has increased the amount of rewards in the events in their shop, so there is a little bit of an AP demand at this point. I have to kind of run that myself to see what goes on, but long story short, at first you're just going to want to make sure that you're always spending your AP on the Bleached Earth nodes as long as you have the storm pods available. So again, each node, it's going to cost 1 storm pod, it's going to give you some Stardust, and it's going to give you other things. So each of these nodes does have pretty lucrative rewards, except for a couple of them that seemingly are kind of bad. So yes, you could use this node to farm, again, some of these blue gems, but I'm going to say most people, by the time they get to Ordeal Call, will have probably been through a lotto or 2 and will not need these in the slightest. But don't think that all these nodes are that bad. In fact, for instance, if we click on this one right here, the Hawaii nodes, there are some pretty nice things, including shells. This, from the very first batch of Bleached Earth nodes, is going to be one of the nodes that you'll see a lot of people focus on. You do have a shell lotto coming up at the end of NA this year, but in the time being, people are going to need shells, basically for for summer coming up, and so you're going to see a ton of people farm this node. Interestingly enough, you also have another node over here in basically Las Vegas, and this node actually is a very lucrative QP node. So in a weird way, you guys can still use these nodes to get more rewards than you would otherwise if you just ran a normal node that were to give you these things. The Bleached Earth nodes are very, very rewarding, and they give you quite nice Master experience, Mystic Code experience, and Bond bond amounts. So it's really a good idea. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Make sure that you don't miss out on your storm pods, don't waste them. Always do your bleached earth nodes. At first, the selection of quests that are available to you is not going to be that great, but you can see over the years we have now gotten quite a few of these nodes. So I think you guys can expect this will continue to expand at least until Ordeal Call wraps up. We'll see what the devs do with this system from there. So this is the Bleached Earth free quest. This is going to be how you guys are going to get your storm pods spent, at least until JP, until that quality of life that JP got comes over to NA. And so from there, you're going to get obviously the rewards from doing the nodes, including the Stardust. Well, where are you going to go spend the Stardust? That's going to be over here in this new class score system. So again, as we come back to class score, each one of these represents a class with 2 extra groups. Now, those are a little bit more confusing, so we'll get into them a little bit later, but I'll just go ahead and go with a very simple one right here, like the Lancer one. Now, one of my waifus is a Lancer, so I kind of ran out and went ahead and did and invested in the class score system. You guys can kind of see I've managed to purchase this. Up here at the top of the screen, you guys can see my actual currency here. This is the Stardust. And here we have the various unlockers. And the way they're going to work is kind of they're going to act as an unlock feature for some of the gates that this system has. So with the class score system, and it may be better to show it to you from one that I maybe haven't started. So let's go over here to like Archer that I haven't touched yet. Archer and all of them kind of are similar. They have very similar layouts and how they work. So you're going to start always right here in the middle, and then you're going to kind of come down. It's going to be a little bit like a class tree. Or if you guys have ever played something like PoE with their talent trees, or maybe even like old school, like Final Fantasy X there with its sphere grid. It's a very similar type of system. It's not very complex. It's very dumbed down and simple. But the way it's going to work is you have choices for how you can kind of proceed and where you can kind of go with each thing. It does not matter which side you start on. You can always go different directions with this. And what this is going to do as you purchase these nodes is you're going to be able to get, again, certain buffs. So as you guys can see, this is going to be Arts Crit Up. It's going to enhance all of that crit damage that your arts cards do. And this is class-wide in terms of benefits. So the way this is going to work is as I do this, all archers that I have, if I were to purchase that Arts Crit Up, would have and gain that benefit. So there's a lot to be said here about strategizing and how you want to proceed. I think most people actually chose to look at the class score and they said, the best bang for their bucks existed kind of right here with Berserkers, because a lot of people like to farm with Berserkers and like to get a lot of mileage out of that. And a lot of people looked towards the extra classes because they have multiple units in them. So to show you an example right here, here's the extra 2, and this includes 4 different classes in it. So this is Alter Ego, Pretender, Beast, and Foreigner. And that's basically how that one's going to work. And as you guys look over to Extra 1 ends up having Shielder, Ruler, Moon Cancer, and Avenger over here. So we don't have all of these unlocked. They are going to unlock over time as you complete the story. And to give you guys an idea, here's basically the unlock requirements for the ones that we have. We have 4 of the extra classes available. We do not have all 8 of them available yet. It stands to reason that we will probably get the Ruler one from Ordeal Call 4, and from there it gets a little bit more up in the air. Maybe we get some of the others from some of the unique fights that we've gotten, as we have at least gotten one that way in the past. But there's no guarantee at this current point in time for when or where we will get maybe the other 3. So those ones are still up in the air, but you can kind of see how it's proceeded. Really, you're going to unlock these from doing the Ordeal Call chapters, and as the story comes out, you will be able to get more of these extra classes. However, the base classes are always unlocked and available for you. So to that degree, this is why a lot of people chose to start with Berserker, just for its general applicability. Now, the thing to keep in mind about this is there's a lot of benefits within each of these class scores. The buffs that they actually can provide are not strictly just carding buffs. There is quite a bit of benefit. And so to detail that, I kind of wanted to show you within this spreadsheet that we've made, we have a summation of everything that can kind of occur. Now, each of the class score individual classes has the exact same buff structure. So it's pretty much a carbon copy of every other class. So if you were to purchase everything for a given class score, this is what you would get. You would get 20% for each of the card type ups. You would get 50% extra attack effectiveness. This includes not just extra attack damage, but also star gen and NP gen. You would get 50% extra star gen. You would get 10% extra NP damage for that class. And then you would get 60% extra quick crit damage, 40% extra arts crit damage, and 20% extra buster crit damage, as well as 10% extra crit damage to all card types. From there, there is also a command code buff. This one works a little bit weird because it's only if you use, sorry, not a command code, command seal. It only works if you use a command seal on an individual unit. And then from there, if you used it of a unit of that class. So let's say, again, you had the Berserker class score unlocked and you went and unlocked the command seal buff for it. Then if you used an individual command seal on a Berserker, it will grant them 50% attack and defense. So it does not mean that it's necessarily going to apply to the entire party. It's only going to apply specifically to the unit that you did it for, but only if it's a class that you have unlocked this for within the class score. So there is a little bit of stuff there. We did include some notes as well. That is to say, the 3x color buffs only increase damage. They do not apparently increase the bonus effects for a card type, so you're not going to get extra NP gen or extra critical star generation. That is the unfortunate nature of those. However, the extra attack effectiveness up, as we already mentioned, does boost every aspect of the extra attack. And again, it's only for one ally and one turn on the command seal attack and defense buff. But this is everything that you can get for any given class score. So if you start thinking about this, you can start to apply this to some of your favorite classes. My advice to you guys is to probably go into the class scores for units that you feel like you already use dominantly in your account. If you have a lot of grailed units, you really like, like a 120 Space Ishtar, going into something like the extra one with the Avenger tree could be really useful to you. Or again, if you have a really powerful like Musashi Berserker or something like that, going into the Berserker tree makes a lot of sense. So it really doesn't matter who you have, it's just about trying to enhance some of your favorite units. Now, the thing to understand about this, though, is that the rate at which you get Stardust for class score is going to take a long time. So don't expect to be completing these very quickly. In fact, we are hard gated, and probably not in the way that you would think, because we're hard gated by this, the unlockers. You only get the unlockers when the devs give you a fight or a campaign that allows you to get them. They have been very stingy with these so far, so you can only unlock up to a certain amount at this point in time, particularly with the max rank unlockers, which you need in order to be able to get to the NP damage buffs. They have locked some of the best things behind that, just to kind of show you here. Again, Here is like your first unlocker right here. This is going to be your red one, as you can see, and we actually have the most of those given out. Then your yellow one right here is sort of the medium tier one. It is going to be a very common one, but still not like the most common. And then the blue one right here, which actually restricts access to both the all crit damage and NP damage up, is going to be your third tier one here, and it is exceedingly rare. We do not get a lot of these, so I highly recommend strategizing which classes you wish to apply them to and try to make the most for your money. But keep in mind that a lot of what is kind of locked into the class score is card performance, not necessarily. While the best rewards are kind of right here, you get a lot of stuff along the way as you're moving towards it. So a lot of the benefits that you guys are going to receive is going to be card type up and crit damage and all those other various things that can kind of help out that card performance. So it's going to be really nice for you in that regard, and something that I think you should consider, that maybe one of the factors for choosing a class score can be units that you find that you use more in a carding environment, whether that be story fights, challenge fights, or again, just fun soloing units that you really like to take into nodes. That's where I think you're going to get a lot of mileage out of the class score system. And you can see I do have quite a bit of Stardust saved up at the moment, but that's actually because, if you noticed, some of the other restrictions for unlocking things within the class score is that not only is it going to take the Stardust, but it's also going to take QP and Ascension materials. And in some other cases, it may even take, and let me see if I can find one here, it may even take, yeah, there you go, your statues and monuments. So these can be really nasty for some of you that are kind of still eking by and don't really have a lot of these to spare. This is why I've told you guys with the upcoming class score system to keep an eye on some of these event shops. Whenever you roll in an event and you have a lot of craft essences and therefore you're maybe more efficient in the event than you otherwise would be, that's a good sign to try and clear the shop and get as many of the statues and monuments out of it as you can, since you're going to be more efficient in that event because you rolled. So that's usually how I try to do it. But again, some of you guys, maybe you're a little bit more free to play. You don't roll very often, so it's not going to be to your benefit to do that all the time. So you're going to have to pick and choose your battles wisely. But the time to start working on this is now. Again, if you guys knew about this system already, you could have already started. But you really want to try to get enough of these statues and monuments so that you don't end up getting kind of hard stuck and being unable to proceed. Realistically, it's going to be those Ascension materials. It's going to be those statues and stuff that are going to be the real things that hold you back. And to detail that, again, this spreadsheet that we have made has the sum total that you will need for every single class. So this is a good way to kind of aggregate all of this and figure out what it is you need. We have it currently broken down by class, and you guys can see, while this is kind of in all detail, what this means is that every single class score to complete it to full will require each of these. This is not the sum total that you will ever need for everything. This is the sum total that you will need for one class score. So it's going to take you almost 7,000 Stardust for one class score, and 4 of each of the lower unlockers and 2 of the major unlockers to unlock everything, as well as 315 million QP there, plus whatever other statues and Ascension materials it requires on top of that. Now, you may be wondering, okay, but what's the total amount I need for everything? And we have that right here. If you want to unlock every single possible class score, every single node, you are going to need 60,000 Stardust, 36 of the red unlockers, 36 of the yellow unlockers, 18 of the sort of like gilded ones here, the tier 3 ones, and then 2.8 billion QP, as well as 175 of each silver piece, with right now, due to the fact that some of them kind of get doubled up on due to the extra classes, you're going to need 200 of the berserkers, and then 625 of each of the gold pieces, and 750 of the berserkers. Then your bronze mat requirements, thankfully, are not too terrible, but for some of you guys, this may be a little bit more than you would like to spare. Otherwise, keep in mind, class score is a system that you guys will complete over time. You will be hard gated by the devs, so you don't have to have all of this right away, right now, but this does do a pretty good job of showing you this is what's going to be required to actually finish this system. Again, I think the real like major stumbling blocks are probably going to be right here in these two, because this one is dev restrictive, and this one, depending on the age of your account, you may just not have a lot of. So I think that's what's really going to hold a lot of people back. But this class score system is, again, very, very good. It's really nice for enhancing the firepower of your units. You don't have to partake in it. The devs themselves cannot balance the game around it because it is your choice as to where to go. And that's kind of what they've echoed in the sentiments that they've said as well, where they have talked about it and they've said, look, it's not a requirement, but naturally fights are going to be harder if you don't have it. So if you have it, it's going to make your time in the game easier. Again, it's up to you to choose how you want to embark upon this and whether or not you want to do it. But I do think this can be a good idea to really start to invest in and prepare for, as it's just going to make your account stronger. And this is in all scenarios. It's not just Ordeal Call. So as you go into like lotto nodes and stuff, having 10% extra NP damage on your berserkers or your sabers or your lancers, or again, your avengers, anything, can be a really, really nice thing to have. It can be an absolute game changer for some of you if you feel like you were right on the cusp for certain units being able to kind of push beyond. This can be that extra firepower that they need to really pop off. One more thing here before we wrap the video up. I did want to point out my man on Twitter here, Nico Nikon. He does a lot of these infographics, and you can see right here, this was one of his early denotations for basically these are all the Bleached Earth quests with their rewards. It's a little bit potato quality right here. So just to kind of get it a little bit bigger, you guys can see the breakdown. This is a very, very nice and amazing infographic that he has. I'm also going to take the, I'll put the link to this and I'll put the link to the spreadsheet in the video description. But again, I hope this all helps you. You guys can see everything that you guys can get here. So I hope this helps you guys with the class score system upcoming. Let me know if you guys have any questions. It's actually a pretty straightforward and easy system, though it does take a little bit of understanding at first because all of it is brand new. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this entrant to the Explain series, and I will see you guys for the next one. Have a good one. Oh. All right, what did I miss? What did I fuck up? Yikes on gold statues. Yeah. I asked Avalon to put this together a while ago. And I've been kind of sitting on it because I had the like New Year stuff that I needed to get out, but I also wanted to like talk about this. Didn't tell them to smash that bell. Oh, bro. Like, I understand, and I probably should say that more. I guess I kind of rely on people's good graces. If people want to like subscribe to YouTube, let them, because I can't tell you how many times like I've watched great YouTube videos and I haven't subscribed to the person because I just needed to know that one thing. So it's like, I understand. I completely get it. You shouldn't have to subscribe to literally everybody on YouTube. But the hope is that they keep watching the content that I put out and that it is of quality and value to them. And then they decide, hey, you know what? I am going to subscribe so that I see every video this dude puts out. That's the ideal. Didn't catch anything wrong, I think. Well, I think because I corrected myself the 1 or 2 times I got it wrong. Can you give us this Google Sheet once you're done? Yes. I will definitely do that. Again, this sheet is definitely nice. I actually didn't. I don't think I asked Avalon to do the calculation for this, but Avalon went ahead and did it. I just wanted to know the sum total of the rewards, which he absolutely did for me. But he then decided to do a calculator for everybody that decided that they wanted it. But you guys should be getting all of this in like May, like I said. So this is a really, really, really nice thing that we have upcoming. There's going to be a huge influx of resources for everybody. Over 1K Zerker monuments on hand. Time to buy some My Room music. What do you mean, Jay? You have upcoming Zerkers that you have to roll for. I'm glad most of it ended up being karting related buffs. Honestly, like, while I say that, right, keep in mind that, as we mentioned before, so like the Buster up, if you have a Buster unit and they are a Buster NP, this does enhance their NP damage. This is nice because this scales to everyone and with Oberon. But this is nice because depending on the unit that you have, it just enhances you. And you guys can see, I think, from the spreadsheet here, where we give out the totals, right? Like, the card type buffs are 20% across the board. So getting these can definitely be a really, really nice thing. Usually, this is what I do, is I blitz for this. I grab all of these along the way, and obviously you're going to get some, like, crit damage buffs and stuff. And then, essentially, like, if there are other quick and easy ones to snag, I usually try to, like, snake my way over to them. And then they do it as strange sometimes. Well, because I think there's also this idea that, like, most people just don't think, right? Like they don't think about it. And then when you say that, they go like, oh yeah, I probably should. Like, so I get that. And that's why a lot of the time my, like, pinned comment in the video instead, like, reminds people like, hey, if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe, right? Like, I usually just don't do the, like, super annoying call out that extends the video. But I probably should. I probably should be better about that. Just Zerktoria, indeed. Yeah, so it's really funny because everybody and their brother was like, start with Berserker. Berserker's the best one. And I do agree there's a lot of logic to that. But chat, I didn't start with Berserker. I started here. For very obvious reasons. Extra class for Cuckoo. So the only problem is you can't really start with the extra class. Because you don't get anything from it. Like, until you unlock, like, again, I think the very first one that we unlock is the alter ego. So until you unlock that, there is literally no benefit here. You won't have Foreigner for a while? Yeah, you won't have Foreigner for a while because we still don't have Foreigner 2 years later. Right? Like, Foreigner and Beast and Shielder and Ruler we still don't have. Which I'm kind of pissed because if there's a class that really needs the card performance increase, it's freaking Ruler! Holy shit! Like, you had this class is full of units that have higher defense than offense, and it's full of like Oonga Boonga murder hobo like waifus. So to me, this is the one that actually needs the like card performance the most, and they literally saved it for last. And I'm like, early spring, yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're getting this one for Ordeal Call 4, and that should be coming here real fast. So I'm also gonna start with Lancer because Melisson is my only 120. Yeah, and I honestly, there's a lot of logic to that. Like I said, like if you have like a Space Ishtar, if you have like a Melisson, if you have some other like Omni Looper that you use, a Morgan Le Fay, a Musashi Berserker, an Arjuna Alter, like, start there. That's the easy, obvious win. because that's a unit that you use a ton and you take them into a ton of nodes and you really just want them to do the maximum firepower that they can. So do it. And there you go. You've now made your strongest unit stronger. It's the same concept of like, oh man, I really keep taking my waifu to this node all the time. Grail her. Give her the cup. Like, that's how this works. How dare you perfectly describe my Estrella Unga Bunga? It's true. Will we get half AP off event for LB7 before class score comes out? Half AP off event for LB7. I think we get that like real fast. I don't remember, but I think that's coming up like here real soon, isn't it? Does a Holy Grail equal a wedding ring? Yes. Like that's this game's version of a marriage mechanic. Plot twist, the next ordeal calls not rulers as foreigners. There's been some theories about that. Though to be fair, like I think the ones that they specifically listed were Alter Ego, Avenger, and Ruler. And I'ma be honest with you, chat. This is kind of metagaming, but like, hold on, wait for it. This is where Ordeal Call 4 is, chat. I don't know if you can see it, but this is Europe, and that is 100% located in the boot of Italy. Like, it's gonna be a frickin' ruler. I'm just telling you right now. Ain't no way we're going to Italy and it's foreigners. This is straight up ruler territory. We throwing hands with the Pope? I don't know. Like, honestly, to me, given that like this could be right where Rome is, it's difficult because like there's the boot, but it could also be like Venice or something, so I'm not sure. Nero ruler variant? I don't know. I'll be really curious to see what they do with Ordeal Call 4. Something tells me I'll be more interested in Ordeal Call 4 than any of the other Ordeal Calls. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I loosely know what's going on with the story for the Ordeal Calls. I was not really interested in Ordeal Call 1. Like, at all. Ordeal Call 2, there's reasons to be interested in it. And Ordeal Call 3 was another interesting premise. So it's like, I think there is some interesting story there, but I think 4 is probably going to be like a big one. We're still looking out for the one chick from the Ordeal Call trailer. Yeah, that too. Hoping for Divine Commedia and Dante. Yeah, and that's probably what it will be, is something like that. Ordeal Call 2 has been the best one so far, IMO by a big margin. I think, like, for the premise of what 2 is, yeah, I kind of agree with that. But I have not, like, read the actual translations and stuff. Yeah, Bob sent me this. Apparently, we got the actual patch notes. And so these got leaked a while ago, but I kind of wanted to go through these because these are the Rivals patch notes for the upcoming mid-season changes. So, Captain America will receive enhanced survivability. His Vibranium Energy Saw will feel smoother, and his ultimate ability will be more attainable thanks to a reduced energy cost. I freaking hate Captain America's ult. He will be able to shield himself with Living Legend mid-leap. That's definitely nice. Because I think like that's one of the issues with Captain America is he can't shield himself whenever he's like jumping, or I think it's like if he has his back turned to the enemy. Increasing the speed, I don't feel like this matters at all. Ricochet is ramping up to 100 meters per second, supercharged to 150. I feel like Cap's shield is already so ridiculously fast you can't dodge it anyways. So I feel like speeding it up is like just kind of crazy. Sentinel Strike. Separating Sentinel Strike from melee attacks. Captain America will be able to use melee attacks while his shield is thrown or during the team up ability charged Aegis State. Oh, so maybe that's why they're doing it. They're trying to get the shield back to him faster because apparently this was an issue, but it looks like they're just allowing you to still melee even without it, so I'm not sure. Doctor Strange, a modest hit to his survivability, down from 650 health to 600. Yeah, so they talked about this during their dev diary, and I guess like Doctor Strange and Magneto were the go-to tanks all the time, especially at like high elo, and so like, okay, we kind of need to like do something about this so that they're not just the automatically taken option. We'll be increasing the threat range of everyone's favorite Flora Colossus. Thornlash wall placement range from 15 meters to 18 meters. I actually don't think this is going to like this helps Groot, but I don't think it helps with the problems that Groot actually faces, which is that Groot gets shredded at high levels against certain team compositions. So it's like Groot feels like a really bad pick sometimes, because at higher elos, people actually shoot and get rid of the Groot walls like right away. So he doesn't get a whole lot of value from the walls. Placing them further isn't going to help that. He's still going to get shot to shit at times. Magneto, he gets a dip in survivability, a small surge in offensive ability. So his iron volley projectile range, or projectile damage from 35 to 40. So they're increasing the man's damage, which I think they kind of needed to do because Magneto is definitely, to me, the strongest tank. Magneto is also, like, somehow the most boring tank because I feel like he's just a really stiff, rigid tank whenever you use him. Increased metallic curtains energy consumption from 50 per second to 65 per second. Reduce its maximum duration from 2 seconds to 1.5. Ooh. That's going to be a little bit spicy on him. Thor, greater user experience. So I saw them, they were talking about this on the stream that I was watching where they were showcasing this. It used to be after he exited his awakened state, he had a 1 second global cooldown before he could use any of his abilities. Now, there is no cooldown once this awakened state ends. So you can just immediately like charge someone or throw his hammer, do whatever, as long as he has the capability. So that's actually nice. Venom, apparently they're buffing Venom. More menacing than ever with a heightened threat upon entering battle and leaner energy appetite for his ultimate ability. Adjust the knockback of frenzied arrival from vertical to inward. So instead of pushing people away, they're sucked into him. Interesting. However, I feel like that's actually just going to get Venom killed faster. Like, I can see like in lower elo lobbies, that's really nice because it brings everyone to him. But at higher elo, that brings everyone to him and they kill him with an inward knockback angle of 75 degrees. Reduce the energy cost of Feast of Abyss, his ultimate ability, from 2800 to 2500. I actually don't feel like that's that big of a change for Venom. I feel like this doesn't actually help him as much as they probably think it's going to. Because I think one of the issues that people have with Venom is that he's kind of a tickle monster. Like he dives in, he kind of like pokes at people and then he swings away. And so like what I've learned is unless the Venom has his ult, ignore the freaking Venom. So he'll get it faster now, but I just like literally try to dodge the Venom and go right back to ignoring him unless he's focusing on me or my co-healer. Duelist. Black Widow's combat effectiveness has been enhanced, increasing threat level to enemies after using her ultimate. Magazine capacity from Red Room Rifle from 8 to 15. Okay, so she can go longer without having to reload. Like, Widow can't one-shot people unless she's damage amped, so I feel like this actually does help her quite a bit. But they enhance the slow effect from 80 to 55. Okay, so they're nerfing how much you're slowed down by, but they're giving a 15% vulnerability to it. So essentially, she'll be able to like one-shot people after her ult lands. I see that trade-off. I think like when I saw the leaked notes, I just saw this portion. I didn't see this. This is definitely a much nicer change now. Hawkeye's survival instincts and honing his close quarters capability, while the ultimate ability takes aim with greater peril. So his base health goes up to 275, so he won't die as easy. Projectile damage of blast arrow from 20 to 15, so it's getting nerfed. Well, the spell field damage will be increased by 25 to 30. So spell field is like, once it hits, it does a splash effect to everybody nearby. So they're enhancing the splash effect, but I guess like the damage of actually getting hit by it is going down. I don't know. Reduce the cooldown for Crescent Slash from 15 to 12 seconds, so he can now reflect more often, which I think is fine. Bow draw speed during the duration of Hunter's Sight ability, and raise the damage multiplier from 1.2 to 1.35. This is not a huge increase, but he's already kind of deadly when he does that. I often wonder why, like, I see so many Hawkeyes pop their ult and then they just don't freaking kill anyone. I know you can, if you can shoot the person and the after image at the same time, it does like double damage and it actually kills them. But there's a point where it's like, bro, just keep like rapid firing into the after image and you'll kill the person. Like at that point, it's better than not getting a kill, I guess is the way I look at it. With Hela, let's see, the damage fall off from Nightsword Thorn at 30 meters will be changed from 70% to 80%. But wait, they're buffing Hela? That's really dumb. What? Why? So basically, after 30 meters, instead of it falling off by 30%, it will only fall off by 20%. So she now can poke harder at range than she used to be. Iron Fist. This one's apparently a big change, okay? So I'm not super familiar with Iron Fist's abilities, but allow me to try and summarize. Reduce the damage of Jeet Kune Do's first, second, and fifth strikes from 32 to 30, while the third and fourth strikes will deal 15 damage instead of 16. The final devastating sixth strike has been dialed back from 55 to 50. So his Jeet Kune Do is just less damage across the board. The cooldown reduction for Dragon's defense has been extended from 1 second to 1.5 seconds, so now it gets more cooldown reduction. The damage of each hit from Yat Ji Chung Quen, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering this, will take a hit dropping from 19 to 10 to flat damage, including Living Chi. However, each strike from Yatji Chunkin now delivers an extra blow, dealing damage equal to 1.7% of an opponent's maximum health. Increase in additional maximum health granted from Harmony Recovery. So now whenever he presses his E to heal, he goes from getting 50 per second to 150. Sorry, no. The maximum health that he gets goes up to 150. So he can have that overheal now. A new decay mechanism basically occurs 1 second after the ability ends. Additional health will deplete at a rate of 25 health per second. So he gets 150 health now, and then let's see, after 6 seconds, it's completely gone. Increase the maximum bonus health converted from damage blocked during Dragon's defense from 150 to 200. So we can now get more bonus health, and increase the base health from 250 to 300. So he is now way more health. His damage got reduced. However, so that you guys understand this, because he deals 1.7, he deals percentile damage now. He doesn't deal as much damage to the squishies, so he's less like volatile to killing healers in the back line. He's not going to kill them as fast. They're going to have a better opportunity to escape from his main damage channel. but he's now going to shred tanks to the extent that he can just kind of keep punching them over and over and over again and keep dealing like roughly 2% of their health every time he does it. So he's getting a lot more mileage from hitting a tank who has a bigger health pool than he is from hitting a squishy that has a smaller health pool. So in order to do more damage, he needs to hit higher health targets. And I like this change because, frankly speaking, not only are there too many damn divers in the game right now, but quite literally Iron Fist was at lower elos where healers don't help themselves, able to just walk right in and just go like, and just like kill the freaking healer outright because the co-healer's like off in La La Land not paying attention. So with a good healer, he couldn't do much to them. Like if the team actually paid attention, he was really shit. And this is why like nobody played him at higher elos. Now people will. He's got more health, so he's got more staying power. He deals less damage to the squishies, but deals more damage to the tanks. So this makes him a Wolverine alternative. So this is going to be nice for people that are trying to run too many tanks or trying to just have this like mega tanky, stally type of composition. He's going to do a really good job against that. I'm actually going to be curious to see how he fares against like Mr. Fantastic now because of that. Tony will crank up the heat with his Unibeam, ensuring that even without Gamma Overdrive, foes will fear the burn. So they actually increased his base Unibeam damage. I heard, and I think it's detailed elsewhere, but I heard that what they did is they nerfed the Gamma team up. So the Gamma team up is down, but his base damage is up. So at that point, good, right? Magic, Queen of Limbo will see her damage capability slightly reduced. I think this is to stop people from getting like just absolutely one shot. That being said, I actually feel like Magic of all the flankers is the most balanced. Yes, she can one-shot you, but it's usually because you did something dumb that allowed that to occur. Like you were just standing still or you weren't like getting out of the way of the magic charging at you. Energy cost to unleash her ultimate ability will be slightly lowered. It's time to behold the Duck Child. Decrease the damage dealt on Demon's Rage regular state from 80 to 72 seconds. So that's like whenever she does her portal shift, that is the, like, you can either do a whirl or you can put down a demon that, like, sits there and goes, like, ah, da, 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 da. That the demon's rage is that. That's the demon. So it's going to do 8 less damage per second. Reduce the energy cost of Darkchild, though, from 3,700 to 3,400. Mr. Fantastic. Reed will stretch his nuisance factor with a greater impact from his ultimate ability. So increase the spell field radius after landing flexible elongation from 2.5 meters to 5. What the freaking heck? That is a huge splash radius now. That may be the biggest spell field radius in the game that I know of. Flexible elongation will now feature a knockback effect, launching enemies outward within the area upon landing. The recharge time for a single use of flexible elongation will be adjusted from 8 to 10 seconds. The damage, increase the damage of Brainiac bounce spell from 50 to 70. Bro, that's gonna get spicy because, like, people say, like, his ultimate is terrible. I've seen Mr. Fantastic's, like, kill entire teams with it. Yes, it kind of results in, like, people have to be stupid for that to happen. But even at, like, high elos, I've seen Mr. Fantastic's kill the healers and stuff with this. It's definitely a thing if he triggers it at the right time and the healer just can't get away because his ultimate ability slows people down with each bounce. So you can't run from him and he starts just stacking damage on you. It gets kind of nasty and it's very easy to kill some of the squishies as a result of that. So the fact that this is getting 20 more damage per bounce and he can bounce up to 6 times. Let's see. So his damage went from a possible 300 maximum to now with 20 extra each bounce over 6 bounces, he's now going up to 480. He can kill everybody but the tanks now. 420? Wait, sorry. Yeah, sorry. But even still, at 420, he can kill everybody but the tanks. That's still like, that's pretty rough now. So the DPS are actually going to have to do something to Mr. Fantastic. Whereas before, some of the DPS could be like, whatever. Like, and just ignore him. Which, in that regard, I like because Oblivious DPS are the bane of the existence of this game. Like literally, people that just don't pay attention and let ultimates happen are the entire reason teams fail, and they deserve to fail. So if this starts happening, you're like, oh, he's killing us. What do I do? Kill him. That's what you do. You shoot the bouncing man, and then he dies. Don't just ignore him. A new damage decay mechanism has been introduced. The spell field damage will begin to decrease at 3 meters and reach a maximum reduction of 50 at 10 meters. Okay, so if he bounces directly on top of you, he gets the max damage. But if you're further away, you basically end up taking less damage. That's good. I like that. That's actually pretty fair then. Hand of Khonshu will offer improved reaction times for foes and an optimized damage logic. So I heard about this, that they reduced the falling speed, so now you have more time to react. They also corrected the logic, so basically the way the Moon Knight ult went, it was a big circle. It had a middle circle that dealt 75 damage. It also had essentially 3 conjoining circles that basically dealt more damage. And so like these would each be 75. So the issue at play that kept happening was that if you were like anywhere near the middle, you immediately took like 150 damage, and just like it was enough to kill like anybody that was not like perfectly full health. And usually in the time it takes you to run out, you already took a second instance of damage. Therefore, now you're sitting at 225. So it's like, yeah, if you're not perfectly maxed, you die just very quickly. So what they're doing is they're now saying, okay, you have more time to react. There's no more middle. Now instead there's these 3 points that the Khonshu hands can drop in, and now they each deal 150. So instead of the boom 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 as you're getting out, now it's boom, boom, boom. You'll have more time to react because not only are the projectiles slower, but you're only going to take one instance of 50 rather than this staccato burst of like 75s over and over and over again. So instead of going and dying, it's going to be boom, 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 boom. There's going to be a cadence to it now. So I do think this will help quite a bit. We'll see. I'm still not a huge fan of Moon Knight's Ankh because of the knock-up effect that it has. It has the potential to basically one-shot most squishies. But I think this will probably help balance Moon Knight a whole lot more. So I think I'll be way more okay with this, but I'll have to see this one in action. Because Moon Knight was like enemy number 1 on my list of people that needed a nerf. And not because like, oh, he can kill me through a healer ult. No, because he can kill you, period, with no reaction time for the player. There was no counterplay to Moon Knight, and no matter how many times I killed a Moon Knight, always as he was dying, I would watch the man go like let's say like these scissors are the Ankh. I'd watch the man like dying and he'd be like, oh, and he'd just like lift his arm up with the Ankh as he's dying, and you would hear everyone behind you die, and you'd be like, God damn it. Like you tried to outplay the Moon Knight and you could not. You couldn't, because he would just still ult while dying and kill everyone. So this was nice. I really, really like this change, but we'll see. Scarlet Witch, we're boosting her survivability when unleashing her ultimate ability. Gain an additional 100 bonus health on activating Reality Erasure. After the ability ends or is interrupted, this bonus health will decay at a rate of 50 per second. That's terrible. She's still dead. Like 100 extra health this will help more ultimates get off. I'm not going to say it won't. Statistically, it will. But it doesn't freaking matter that woman is still just absolutely getting erased herself. Because everything still works to counter this ult. It doesn't work through any shield. It has a 4-second wind up where she goes, pure chaos! And like when she finishes the chaos, she explodes. So you know the second you hear pure. Like everybody just turns and is like, no. That is the one ultimate that all the DPS usually pay attention to and kill, because that ultimate will kill the DPS and they know it. So they actually pay attention to it. Spider-Man, we're slightly reducing the web cluster cooldown to increase his offense. I mean, at least they didn't increase his actual damage output. This is literally just his right clicks that he requires to do everything. So they're saying, hey, instead of it taking 3 seconds to generate one, it's now 2.5. So it'll get them a little bit faster, but this doesn't actually increase the man's overall offense. That being said, I don't think Spider-Man needed any adjustment due to the insane capability of certain Spider-Men out there. And you might be like, oh, well, not everyone's at that level. And I'm like, you're right, but I don't think this needed to be a thing, because I think it's perfectly fine to have a character that is mechanically complex. And it's like, oh, well, not everyone can perform it to that degree. Who cares? Some people can, and they're kind of who has to dictate the balance of the class. Peter's mobility is getting a stellar upgrade. Increase rocket propulsion's maximum energy from 1200 to 1800. Wait. So he moves... No, he has more time to move faster. That's what I'm reading here. So basically he's getting like 1.5 times his original. Yeah, he can fly longer now. Storm, we've toned down her Tempest from long range and recalibrated her bonuses, offering less of a boost to herself, but more to her allies in the Eye of the Storm. So basically, they're still trying to make it so that she's a good unit to take. So the damage fall off of Windblade at 30 meters will be changed from 70 to 60. So in other words, it's going to fall off a little bit harder at range. Reduce Storm's damage increase from Thunder during weather control from 16 to 12%. However, the damage increase for allies within the range has been increased from 8 to 10. So 4% less damage for Storm, but 2% more for the party. I don't think this is going to actually make that big of a deal, honestly. I don't see most people like barely getting like, oh man, that Storm barely killed me. I think most of the time you're dead as dicks. Reduce Storm's damage increase from the enhanced Thunder during weather control from 30% to 25%. This in combination with the other effect might make a difference. Because now you're looking at almost a 10% decrease to her overall damage output and a 10% decrease to her damage output at range. I think, yeah, if you're far enough away, Storm will tickle you now a little bit more. But still, it's like if you let a Storm just sit there and just wombo you at range, she's gonna just fry you. And an example of this was a bot match, chat, but allow me, because I had this happen at lunch when I was just working on my dailies. So it was a domination match, and nobody on our team went to grab the point right away. So that's why it's a domination match that lasted 10 minutes almost. But I got 83 kills during this time, including a Hexa. I had 39 hits. Like, this is the thing. Storm is a final hit machine. You can reduce the damage all you want, but she's just gonna combo over and over and over and over and over again. Like, that's what makes her so freaking strong. And that's not even including like her team up, right? Strategist, Adam Warlock's damage capability will be enhanced. Why? His damage isn't what needed an enhancement. Along with a slight increase in healing ability, that's what needed it after activating Stolbon. So the increase to damage of Quantum Magic from 55 to 60, dude, he's going to start just obliterating people now. Additionally, the damage fall off at 40 meters will be changed from 50 to 60, so he's 10% more effective at range. Increase the healing amount provided by Soul Bond to linked allies from 10 to 15 seconds. Sorry, from 10 per second to 15 per second. I don't remember how long Soul Bond lasts, but I feel like that's still not going to help him enough. I hate to say it, what they probably should do, they should lower the amount that his main heal heals and add a third one to it. Lower the amount that it gives, but give him a third one. There you go. That's simple. Cloak and Dagger, survivability and healing ability during the activation of their ultimate ability will be enhanced, while the frequency, duration, and intensity of the ultimate ability is reduced. Additionally, Tyrone's threat level will be enhanced. Yo, why? I'm not going to say it. Increase the energy cost to activate Eternal Bond from 3,400 to 4,000. So, this has been a topic of discussion ever since the patch notes got leaked, because we knew these nerfs were coming. I actually don't feel like this makes that big of a difference. So, yeah, allow me to explain the way healer ults have a tendency to work, and why I think this change is purely to appease the fan base. Most of the time, as a healer, I get to my ultimate, and I sit on my ultimate, and I wait for a counterplay. I don't use my ultimate the very second I get it. I'm not a DPS. That's what DPSs do. I'm a healer. I wait to counter a DPS or to counter an enemy healer or an enemy tank. It doesn't really matter. I'm looking for an ultimate that is life-threatening to my party, and then I go, no, and I counter it. That's the exact way this works. I have had games where I sat on my ultimate through entire rounds waiting on that one DPS to finally pull the trigger on the team. Because as long as we're winning, we don't need my ultimate. But the second we're losing, we need my ultimate. So this will reduce the overall amount of strategist ultimates statistically across the board. But it's not going to reduce the amount of, you can't kill me that occurs across the board. The healing amount of each segment will be increased from 220 per second to 250 per second. So in other words, if I am standing in Cloak and Dagger's ultimate, in order to kill me, you must do more than 250 damage per second. And I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm saying this is why some players think that healer ultimates are invincibility and literally amount to, well, there's nothing to do. And I've explained this before. Bad players think that way. Bad players sit there and say, a enemy healer popped their ultimate, guess I can't play the game for the next 10 seconds. A high elo player goes, an enemy player just popped their ultimate, I need to either look for a way to pick someone, get to safety and reposition, or find a way to farm my ultimate for the second their ultimate ends. Like, I've watched streamers that, like, again, are semi-pros and former pros and stuff like that, like, and they'll sit there, they don't bitch about the healer ults. They just go like, all right, like, I'm on my Bucky, boom, 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 boom. They just use it to farm ult. That's all they do. They literally say, well, I can't kill you, but I can sure hit you during this time because you think you can't be killed. And sometimes they straight up just kill the healer in their ult, and then their ult goes bye-bye. And that's why I'm saying, like, it's not really as big of a deal as the community makes it out to be. This change is purely to satisfy the community, and it's still not going to satisfy the community in the end. Because it's the change that the community wants, but the community doesn't even understand the issue. Because the community thinks that healer ultimates are invincibility. The duration will be reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. This will hurt. This will mean that I'll have less uptime on this saving ultimate, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's a saving ultimate, so I don't really care. And the pause time between segments decreases from 1 to 0.67. So I'm now harder to kill from Magneto in my ult. Now the healing effect from each segment will not stack when overlapping, because apparently it did before. I didn't even realize this, but I'm going to be honest, this doesn't really affect me, because most people go, oh man, this person's healing by 220 per second. They're invincible. I guess I'll just give up for a little while. So now I don't really have to worry about that. But at the same time, like, yeah, I don't think this is really going to be like that big of a deal for the most part. Only one healing effect is applied. Additionally, camera control is unlocked during the activation of Eternal Bond. So this is interesting. I'm not really sure what they mean. I guess they mean like, as I'm using the ultimate, I can now swivel my camera, I guess. But I'm terrified of fucking up the ultimate in doing that, so I'll have to play with that. Increase the vulnerability inflicted on enemies by Terror Cape from 20% to 28%. It's actually really nice, because a lot of the time, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to encourage people switching to Cloak and not just sitting as Dagger all the time. Because if you use Cloak well, you're a good Cloak and Dagger. If you don't ever use Cloak, you're a shit Cloak and Dagger, no matter how anyone wants to look at you. But the way you do it for Cloak is you quickly switch over to him, you Terror Cloak into the enemy team, they all become more vulnerable, and everybody that hits them gets more damage. So now, everybody that hits the enemy team gets 8% more damage when that happens. That's definitely nice. Invisible Woman only getting a small change. She's basically just getting the frequency of her ultimate ability changed from 4,000 to 43,000. Again, this is not going to make a big deal, no matter what. This one, though, I am pissed. I am actually pissed they didn't nerf Loki, because Loki is the entire problem in triple support. People will argue that, like, oh, this isn't the case, but the most cancerous versions of triple support that I ever see involve Loki. And it's not for the reasons most people think. So whenever you get to triple support, and if you guys are unfamiliar with Rivals, Loki can copy an ultimate from somebody else, either on your team or the enemy. So you get one of these like ultimates that's quote unquote invincibility that people just kind of go like, oh, I can't play the game. And so they pop their ult. So I'm just going to say healer ult 1, right? Then you have usually another healer ult. So you have healer ult 2. Then you have Loki, and Loki copies the ult. So what makes Loki a problem? Because he's going to copy one of these other ults, and he's going to use it to extend the quote-unquote invincibility duration. The issue isn't that Loki can copy an ult. The issue is that in between these instances, Loki has an ability that everyone likes to refer to as Lamp. This ability stops counterplays. It literally means as you try to ult someone, either in their own ult or in between the ults, Loki just pops Lamp and you do no damage. Lamp is way too strong in its current iteration. I'm kind of okay with it being what it is, but they need to look at the relationship between Loki both extending the ultimate train and covering any gaps in this formula. Because Loki can, like, Lamp at the front end to block an ult. Or, sorry, you're probably going to block the first one with the healer. So Loki can block the second one with Lamp. And then Loki can come out of his ult and block it again with his Lamp. And then by that time, guess what? Healer number 1 is probably right about to do it again. So this gets really, really stupid. I've only encountered this, thank God, like twice in all of my games. But when you encounter it, it is the most cancerous thing ever, because, dear God, a good Loki just absolutely hard freaking carries this type of composition. And there is no real counterplay, especially if the enemy is on defense or they're entrenched on a point already. You cannot get them off, and no amount of ulting will. You will literally have to, like, bait out Loki's Lamp and then try to counterplay, and you better hope to God somehow the other healers don't have an ultimate to cover them. So that's the one thing I really don't like, is that they didn't touch his Lamp, because to me, his Lamp, it's not talked about because most people don't understand it, but it's actually his most broken ability. Straight up. So they do increase the energy cost. I'm fine with this. In fact, the fact that Loki had the lowest, he was tied for the lowest energy cost of all healers is actually asinine. Because Loki transforms not just into a healer ult, but literally into any ult. So he can absolutely counterplay, like he can copy a Storm's ultimate and go right through the enemy team and kill them all. So to me, yeah, this absolutely needs to have a high cost. Loki should not be able to get to this ultimate easy, because that is the most versatile and powerful ultimate in the entire game. because it can copy whatever is already considered to be the most powerful ultimate in the entire game. Mr. Fox, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, we just got done like doing FGO, and I've been going through the patch notes that Marvel Rivals just put out here. Welcome, everybody. How was PGR? And I think you were doing LB7 earlier too, weren't you? There's a rise of DPS Jeffs. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they did not touch Jeff at all. But I think it's because they know that Jeff is not a very frequent pick. So I think you're going to see a rise of him even more. But I think the other variants of triple support are perfectly fine. Like variants that include Jeff, variants that include Rocket. They don't need to get rid of those. It's the variants that include double healer defensive ults plus Loki that are the problem. That's the one that actually needs looking at. So it looks like they increased his ult. They increased magic missile charges from 10 to 12. So now he has more ammo. I actually do like this as someone that has played Loki and probably will be playing Loki on stream for you guys here soon. This is definitely nice, and I think this needed to happen. But like this is okay, but they needed some sort of adjustment to Lamp. That's the only thing I ask. Then did a small summoning session. Ah, nice. Did you get who you wanted? The correct way to touch Jeff is to go pet him, yeah. The Luna Snow, we're reducing her ultimate ability frequency. Increase the energy cost to activate Fate of Both Worlds, so it's just her ultimate, from 4,000 to 45,000. She is now the most expensive, I think. That's kind of wild. To me, no, ain't no way. Loki should absolutely be more than her. Straight up. Again, for the exact same reasons as any other one, Loki can copy people's ults, so you need to increase it to make him have to choose more wisely who he copies. That is the idea behind it. Looks like they're also adjusting the team-up abilities. We're enhancing the capability of Luna Snow's side of this team-up ability. The healing amount of Frozen Chi from 50 to 75, good. This needed to happen because this is a really nice anti-flanker thing, and it kind of sucked with how much it was used. And honestly, I think what they need to do is they need to increase the knockback of this skill, because it boops people, and it's so small. It does not really get them off of you. No effect on enemies from 20 to 30%. Okay. Oh, the slow effect, sorry, not snow effect. Dimensional shortcut, sustained combat capabilities of Black Panther and Psylocke. Why? The rewind time of psionic discs from 5 seconds to 3, good. Additionally, the conversion ratio of lost health to blue armor will be increased, bad. Reduce the rewind time for Wakandan Master from 5 to 3 seconds. Additionally, the conversion ratio of lost health. Okay, so it's just both versions of it get the same change. Gamma charge. So here it is. Gamma overdrive and Hulk's benefits from the team up. They're reducing the damage capability. Good. So Unibeam goes down from 220 to 200. 220 per second. I want to be clear. Think about the time to kill there at 220. You have healers in the game that have 250 health. At 220 damage per second, he needs to hold that Unibeam on them for 1.25 seconds to kill them. Not even. Like 1.2. This is why, like, this team up is so cracked. Iron Man pops his E and then just waltzes right in and starts frying people. And there is nothing you can do about it for the next, like, 10 seconds. You have to shoot him down or you die. Straight up. It is a kill or be killed thing. Reduce Hulk's team up anchor health bonus from 150 to 100. See, I actually don't feel like Hulk himself is that strong in this team up. The problem exists entirely on Iron Man's end. However, that being said, I think they need to worry more about the viability of Iron Man outside of this team up. And they did at least boost his damage output, but we'll see, because that's definitely going to feel nasty. Lunar Force, we're enhancing Moon Knight's survivability after using this team up ability. Full Moon new effect. Continuously heal Moon Knight for 25 health per second while within the effect area. I assume this is in addition to the invisibility. So this is his team up with Cloak and Dagger. he gets an invisible bubble that he can sit in. But you know he's in that bubble, so it's not that big of a it's not that good of a team up, right? But now they're saying, oh, okay, he can kind of heal himself. This could be okay. It depends on like how he deploys this. I think good Moon Knights will use this really well. I think bad Moon Knights won't be able to figure out that team up ever, anyways. Symbiote Bond, Penny Parker and Spider-Man will enjoy enhanced survivability thanks to the suit armor expulsion enhancements. What? Reduce Spider-Man's suit expulsion duration from 4 seconds to 1 second. Okay, that's great. I actually love that. Already, I don't care what the rest of this says. The fact that they've reduced it down to 1 second, because watching a Spider-Man or a Penny Parker just float around as like a sea urchin just spiking everybody for the next 4 seconds is kind of rough. Replace the 50% damage reduction effect with a new invincibility effect during the duration. Okay, I actually like this. So you can't kill them for the 1 second that it's popped. So they can use this as a get out of ult free card or a you can't focus fire me card. I actually do like that. That is a much better balance change for this ability. And it's the same thing, I think, for Penny Parker. No, okay, so she gets 2 second duration and invincibility. Okay, well, that's oh boy, that's going to be kind of spicy because people are already beginning to figure out just how strong Penny is. So that's kind of whack. And then that's the end of the notes, chat. So Penny's going to start to look a little bit stronger in these sorts of things. Yeah, I'm a-okay with most of the changes. There's maybe a couple more that I wanted to see, but I actually feel like most of these adjustments are pretty good. So it's an increase in damage. For what? For Penny? Oh, you're talking about like damage fall off that they talk about? Yeah, so after a certain range, damage begins to like go down. So they're saying instead of it going down like this, it's now going to go down like this. So it'll still go down, but like you'll kind of, it won't go down by as much at range. Fall off for Adam, yeah. I'm surprised Panther didn't get touched. Panther has only really risen in play here lately. I think for the first like couple of weeks of the season, a lot of people didn't touch him. So I think that's kind of why. All right, though, chat. I think this is going to be it for me as well. Thank you again, Mr. Fox, for the raid. Hope you guys had a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed the recording. Who do I have on tonight? I have a Mr. Creamy, so let me send you guys his way. Haven't gotten to raid Creamy in a while. But yeah, I'm optimistic about Rival's future here, and we'll see. We have the new stuff coming out Friday that I'm definitely going to want to cover with you guys. So we've also got like other FGO stuff. I think I probably need to record something for Chaldea Boys. It's still a little bit of a ways off, but that's going to sneak up on us soon. So I'd probably rather get that out sooner than later. So we'll see. I might try to get that out later this week, but it depends. I got to talk to like Okayist and see like what else we have on the docket. So, but yeah, in the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow. Hope to see you guys then. Go give Mr. Creamy my love and have a good one.